time to go viral. I'm homicidal, I'm killing all my rivals. I'm the man, shit, I put that on the Bible. I Spotify my target, cause you know I got the title. Hey, I'm a Mac too. I told baby shake that ass like she Apple. She said it's real, so she got my name tattooed. House full, so I hit it in the back room. Oh, baby said she needed now, peep the urgency. I want a little Kim before she had the surgery. Leg spread on that hardcore poster. She love twerking, she just do it for the coach. Big dog, bull massive. 6 tray Chevrolet, I'm classic. All these niggas mad at me, that's tragic. The main bitch in the bed, that's graphic. Yeah, we about to go viral. Hey, we about to go viral.
What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal, Viral Gang? We back at y'all with another one. This ain't that other one. Like the video, hype the video, tell a friend to tell a friend. The movement is moving. You either move with it or it's moving without you. As always, it's your host that do the most, Mr. Viral himself, aka the villain, because they hate me for my opinion. And I got bro in the building.
You already know, man. Messiah the Great. We gonna keep leading the way.
We're here to wake the sheep that sleep. We're here to lead the way like Messiah say. Shout out to the tinfoil hat gang. And we got a special one for y'all today, man. We got a real journey. We got a real story. Like, this one of them stories that need to be in the movie. When I read about it, I'm like, this is unbelievable. Somebody got to hear about this. People got to hear about this because I make a conscious effort to speak up for the felons, right? They treat us like we are invisible to the society, as if whenever you make a mistake, you got a lifetime scarlet letter, and they don't never want to give you your rights back. They treat you like you less than human pretty much. And we all got stories where we didn't have to deal with that and overcame. So why don't you give the people a little intro to yourself, a little piece of your background.
So first and foremost, thanks for having me on, man. I've been waiting for this, man. I think y'all awesome. I love y'all content and what y'all doing, man. So it's just a pleasure and honor to be here. My name is Brandon Jamal Baker. Also, you can check me out on Instagram, b.successful81. I'm from West Covina, California. I spent 25 years in prison. At the age of 18, I was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. After 25 years of incarceration, like I'm out, you know, and not only am I out, I'm out better than before. So
How long have you been since you touched down?
I got out last year, November 12th, 2024. So it's been a little over a year.
Congratulations on that, because I know how much that is a blessing. Especially, I got a question. So how did you feel when you finally knew like you was giving that time back? Because a lot of, it's so many people in those places where you just lose hope.
Yeah, man. So I would say for me, the minute I went to parole board and they said I was suitable, it was like somebody snapped the fingers and tears just started welling up. And it just felt like not only 25 years of incarceration, it felt like 400 years of bondage and slavery was erased from me. And I knew like the pathway to my future, it was set before me, bro. So I'm out here, I'm motivated, I'm determined, and just pressing forward, because I have to be the manifestation of greatness. You know what I mean? Because when I do it, it inspires other people, let them know that they can do it as well.
Look, I got a whole lot of questions on how it felt to be in there, how it felt to be out. But before we even get into that, man, your man just told me you ran into somebody real monumental the other day. And I'm going, damn, what are the odds? We was just talking about this cat on the show, literally.
Man.
You ran into Kendrick Lamar the other day.
So it was just, it shows you the power of manifestation, man. I go to Cal State Los Angeles, so I'm also in school. I did my final report on Kendrick Lamar's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers album. And so talking about media representation of social change. So I literally wrote this report on this dude, 10-page essay report on that album because I thought it was amazing. And so the next day to be at the beach on the pier and just to see him jogging by, I went right up to him, like, hey, man, that's K-Dot, man. What's up, bro? And so he's a very humble dude. He stopped, he talked to me for about 2 or 3 minutes. I don't want to hold him up too long, but I just let him know, like, in my eyes, man, like, you are the culture, bro. Like, you got it, man. And keep doing it, man. We support you. We love you out here.
Yes, that's for sure manifestation at its finest. And shout out to K-Dot for not being Hollywood.
Yeah.
So you was at the pier? Where was you at? Santa Monica? You was Seal Beach?
Manhattan Beach.
Manhattan
Beach, man.
And he was just out there, no security,
out there just
chilling.
jogging, no security, nothing. He a real one, bro. No security or nothing. But I see him, I'm like, hey, man, what's up, Dot?
So them Instagram videos ain't cap when he out there doing the burpees in the park. And, hold on, what the f is Cut doing out here? He ain't got no, what? So look, K-Dot let you know he ain't got to worry in the world, but that's what happens when you real and you authentic
Man.
And you about the people. You a man of the
Man.
people. You feel me? Shout out all the black people
Yeah,
out there too,
man.
man. Be one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
Yeah.
So that first moment you stepped out the gate, before we even go to how it felt being in there, because I remember the first moment when I stepped out the gate and how surreal the world felt,
Yeah.
where it felt like you was literally walking out of the Matrix. Like everything was
Yeah.
slow motion for me. What was that feeling like for you after 25 years?
Man, so for me, I'm really big on energy, right? So for me, my brother, he was right there with me as I walked out the gate. I said, man, it's showtime. It's time to get to work. And I look at somebody like Tupac, right? When he got out of prison, he wasn't waiting around or nothing like that. He was like, let's get straight to the studio. All eyes on me. And so when I came home, when I was in prison, especially like the last 3 years, the best advice I ever got came from a good buddy of mine. He said, you have to be free 2 or 3 years before you even get out of prison. And so I didn't understand what that meant until I understood what that meant. And what that meant was I had to start programming my mind as if I was already out of prison. So everything I'm doing right now is exactly what I was prepared to do when I was in prison. So when I came home, I really didn't have no time to be sitting around procrastinating. I know what I had to do. I have a mission.
So mentally adjusting, in a sense, was you already correcting and getting out of the mindset of being, I don't even want to say institutionalized, because everybody that go to jail is not institutionalized,
Facts.
because it's about the mindset. But did you have to reevaluate and be aware of those habits? Because you conditioned a certain way. We get up a certain way at a certain time. You move. You got certain programs. So did you already just basically reprogram yourself before you touched in?
Yeah, absolutely. And that goes back to like the mindset, because for me, it wasn't a matter of the shackles they put on my hands or the shackles that was put on the ancestors or our ancestors' feet. It was the shackles that I put in my mind. So once I was able to release those, like I was already prepared. There was no like a grace period for me to readjust back into society. You know what I mean? So my mindset was already like what it is right now today. And I know there's plenty of other people that are in prison. I go back inside the prison. I know for a fact there's thousands of people who look just like me, who have the same kind of mindset. When they come home, they'll be doing great things in society as well too.
Right. Nah, that's definitely big. I'm for sure an advocate and rooting for you, because I know how it is, and I know how tough it is for me myself of readjusting and getting back aligning. And then especially people, do people ask you a lot, or do you just go based off just being yourself? Because I notice people can hear that and then they start to just play whatever they want to play in their mind. You know what I'm saying? You say, well, I did 25 years in prison. Now they look at you like a whole different person. But if you never told them, they probably would have never even knew you did at the time.
Hey, I would tell you, man, the greatest compliment I ever get from people is when they say, man, you were in prison? Like, we never could have believed it. And so it's crazy because to me, like I said, I have a gang background, incarceration, level 4 penitentiaries, 180 shoe terms. Like, I've done all that stuff. And when people see me today, they don't see me as that person. They see me as Brandon Jamal Baker. They don't address me as my moniker anymore or the neighborhood I once represented. Like, they see me for who I am. And so, like, that's the greatest compliment I'm ever going to receive.
Right. For sure, that's a different type of feeling, especially going in there, you feeling like a number outside of the people that's locked in there with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big, man. I can imagine, but I can't imagine. It's like 25. It's like that's a stretch. Do it feel now that you out? And this might sound like a stupid question, but does it feel like, because for me, stepping out was like, okay, however much time you did, now once you hit the pavement, does it still feel like, damn, I can't believe I like sat down for 25 years in that motherfucker?
So first and foremost, the one thing I will say is I'm a firm believer there's no such thing as a dumb question. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Like I said, I'm college educated, and I never learned from professors that just talked. I only learned from asking questions.
Right.
And a lot of times people will say that's a dumb question. But for me, if I don't know the answer, it's the right question. You know what I mean? So
I agree with, not to stop you, I agree with that mindset, but I already know how our fan base be. Like, why would you ask that?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna ask what's on my mind. Yeah.
When he asked some dumbass shit.
Yeah, look, see,
I just walked in on some dumbass shit.
I know I didn't ask nothing crazy. I understand it, but they don't. Everybody, the civilians don't understand that type of mindset.
Yeah.
Okay, so
now I was trying to let him finish what he was getting.
Oh, okay,
at,
go ahead.
Yeah. So I would just say for me, like I said, it just really goes back to the mindset. Like, they say, I remember growing up in the 80s, you had the this is your brain on drugs and they frying the egg and stuff. that's really true. Like when you understand like that mind is a terrible thing to waste. And so for me, they can't have this. And so like once I had that in my mind, nothing's gonna stop me. So yeah, that's
Okay,
pretty
so
much
take
it.
us back to the beginning.
Yeah.
You sentenced to life at 18.
Yep.
What was going through your mind the moment you were standing in front of that judge and they said, everybody rise? And he banged that gavel and said life. Did you think your life was over? And what was the exact charges you were sentenced for?
So I would say for me, I felt like my life was over long before, I was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. And I say that because, you're looking at someone who's attempted suicide as a teenager, someone that had his best friend murdered, in the passenger seat. Like, so there was a lot of things that I experienced, that trauma that weighed on me, that really, I just felt like I was hopeless. And this is why I love Tupac so much. Like that Me Against the World album, that Lord
Right.
knows, that
Woo.
did something to at 15 years old that did something to my heart, man. Like, so especially like coming from where I come from, West Covina, if anybody knows the San Gabriel Valley, Pomona, West Covina, it was a lot of racial tension between the black and brown community. So going into the LA County Jail at the time, this is in 2000, where there was a mandate where if the numbers was 3-1, they had to get off. I remember going to Pomona Court. There's 3 blacks in there, 20 Mexicans. They gonna crash us. So we got to fight. So even before going into the judge, I was fighting for my life in LA County Jail.
Right.
So I remember the judge literally said, Brandon Jamal Baker, I sentence you to life without the possibility of parole. Do you understand what that means? And before I can even utter a word, boom, the gavel was slammed. And I looked over here to the right. I seen the survivors of the crime crying and stuff and hugging. And then I looked over here and I see my family. Everybody in the courtroom is crying except for my mom. She just had a stone cold look on her face like, fuck, like, you need to get out of there, And so like that stuck with me forever. And so, just for clarity, like what I went to prison for was actually, it was a robbery. It was a home invasion robbery. I'm not innocent by any stretch of the imagination. I did the crime, also did the time. But I also know that there's a such thing in this justice system where they do over sentence us. I had gang enhancements, gun enhancements. And I was like, I didn't even have a murder, and yet they still sentenced me to life without the possibility of parole. So yeah, but by the grace of God, I am what I am, and I am exactly where I'm supposed to be.
And for those that don't know what gang enhancements and those things are, it's basically more. Just imagine more time getting added to whatever the crime is. So it could be you can do a crime that's 5 years, but you can get a gang enhancement that carry life. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're right. It is wild, and especially when you're in situations where you see people that catch hot ones, 187s and things in that sense, and they get 7 years, 10 years, and shit like that. You watch a lot of that come in and out the system. So it is, the system is toe up for sure.
It's ironic that you spoke on the black and brown tension back then, and that's probably the hottest topic on the internet right now, and the most controversial topic surrounding our podcast right now, because I've been speaking openly and heavily on it, and speaking about a lot of the conversations that is only had behind closed doors with certain people. You got to get this rep to talk to this rep, and those conversations aren't supposed to leak out. And with the hate that the black community has been getting from the brown community, all while they have been cosplaying our culture and indulging in our culture, and we've been welcoming them with open arms, I just was asking them like, hey man, where's this hate coming from? Because I never really understood it. Yeah, I get you was colonized and the people that colonized you had a hate for us, but that was centuries ago. That was years ago. As of today, we are damn near, I won't say one and the same, but one and the same. We grew up in the same neighborhoods. You got blacks from Mexican gangs. You got Mexicans from black gangs. We integrated, having kids together, and yet that hatred is still being carried out, all because of certain words that come down through the prison line. So how was that for you growing up? Was it as intense as it was when, let's say, I was growing up in the early 2000s, when we was having race riots at the high school? You talked about the county jail. It was a race riot when I got there. Blacks and Hispanics couldn't even be in the same location. It was on site. Like you said, they had to get off, or we had to get off.
So, for me, first and foremost, like I would say is that I've experienced a lot of racism. I've been on both sides of the spectrum where I was the perpetrator and I was also, the victim of, those same kind of hatred, those hate crimes. But I also do believe that, we have to be at a time of like healing and reconciliation, man, because first you have to address it, but long term, what is the purpose of addressing this stuff? And so when you ask the question of the hatred or where is it coming from, it's a lot deeper than penis envy. It's a lot deeper than gang culture. It's predicated and it comes from a system of oppression. Because for me, I can never see myself hating another group that is also oppressed because I understand it. And so it's like it goes back. I think about people like Malcolm X when he asked people the rhetorical question, who taught you to hate yourself? Right? And the same person that taught you how to hate yourself also taught you to hate other people. And so when I look at it, like, obviously, yes, there's racism in the world. I experienced it firsthand. I remember the first time I encountered racism, it wasn't with someone white. It was with Hispanics. I remember me and my best friend, we was 13 years old in La Puente somewhere. We had two girlfriends that happened to be Mexican. And guys pulled up, hey, man, you fucking my out there, threw a beer bottle at us. Man, I ran for my life. I was scared. And right after that, I went to one of my brother's friends. I said, I got to get me a gun. At 13 years old, I had a Deuce 5 with a Pro White handle because I said, that is never going to happen to me again. So that was the seed of racism. It wasn't something that I was taught. It wasn't something that I picked up in a book. It was something that I experienced in my community. But I also know that people can change. I have changed. I know people for a fact that are Mexican, that were from some of the most racist gangs that have changed their lifestyle. I can go over to their house right now. I know their wives, their kids, their mothers, and all that stuff. And we have to highlight the people who are actually pushing to bring about change. Because the one thing I will say before we move on to your next point or whatever you have to say is that my first love is sociology. They say in 2042, America, for the first time in the history of this nation, is going to be a minority majority nation. And right now, California today is the only state in America that is a minority majority nation. So when we think about it, not just from a California cultural standpoint, imagine 2042, that's around the corner, 17 years. When your children become adults and have children of their own, what kind of world do you want them to live in? So, that's just something, I've been giving that a lot of thought as well, too.
Yeah, I just think it gets to a point where, like bro said, what is it stemming from? And if it's still stemming, is it really as serious in your heart as it is? Because if you do indulge in our culture, if you do like things, if you like the oldies, you like our music, you like things about us, and then it's mind-boggling because you say you don't like us because of what? At what point do you question that yourself in your heart? I done been in places, like you said, where you would think these people be the most racist, but they didn't look out for me. Then gave me food or did certain shit, see me and didn't have it, liked me for my character and be like, hey, here, take this. But, might slide it through another cell. But don't say, you already know they'll tell you, don't say nothing, my peoples. Oh, I'm making a spread, and this X, Y, and Z. You need something from the store. Small stuff like that. And these is from some of the worst ones and the worst gangs. So I do understand, and then you evaluate that. And it's the same thing with our people. Because it's like your worst enemies are being there. You got to wait for them. They're going to look out for you. You're going to look out for them. So it's like, how much do you hate like you say you do? Because in my mind, if you hate like you say you do, then don't fuck with me at all, not 0%. Because if you ain't fuck with me at 100%, don't fuck with me at all. Don't act like you do one way and you another way when you're around other people. I think that's our biggest flack about a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm really harping on bringing this up, because like you stated earlier, a lot of the people who change their life, I start to notice, is when they start to reach maybe that fourth quarter or what feels like fourth quarter, or they lost a big chunk portion of their life and they look back and go, damn, that was a waste of time. That didn't get me nothing. So I think those people should be the ones really using their voices to let the next generation know, you know what I'm saying? Hey, that shit, that's a lie. We were sold a lie. Don't end up like me. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us that's still in there and can't get out. A lot of us that is already in the ground and dead and gone. A lot of people can end a lot of this conflict that's going on just by putting their pride to the side, their ego to the side, and the fear to the side.
And that right there, for everybody listening, that should be the conversation right there. So, we're talking about people who are being silent. Those are the voices that need to be exalted once we have that experience. Because like I said, for me personally, I'm not ashamed to say that I had a racist ideology at one point in my life. but I also know that I don't have that ideology anymore. I know that I have changed my life, right? And I also know on the flip side that there are people that were on the other side of that spectrum that have also changed their life. And so if I know that people can't change, then consciousness can change. That means our community, our society as we know it can change. And that right there has to be the message, man. People need to speak up.
Definitely, people need to speak up. Don't be afraid of getting backlash from your community. More people want you to speak up than you realize. You wouldn't imagine how many DMs, how many messages I get a day from people that I personally know that are deathly afraid to comment under the post, but comment in the DM.
Ooh,
But
hey,
they're
say
afraid.
that again. Say
You know
that
what I'm
again,
saying?
bro. Say that
Deathly
again.
afraid of what people will think if they comment their true feelings under the post. So they looking at me as a light and a beacon of a light and a breath of fresh air. Like I'm speaking for them. You saying exactly what I want to say, but I don't got the heart to take the backlash like you. But keep going, bro. So just think it's a lot of those in every community, from black to white to Hispanic to Asian. A lot of people is tired of going through the same cycles of bullshit. People just want to live and live good. That's just really what it is. And if you ain't a part of the 1% that's making the laws, what are you really hating for anyway?
And so let me also just share this story, right? One of my best friends, I won't say his name, grew up generational racism. He grew up in Compton. He's a Hispanic, and he was in the hospital in a very bad car crash on life support. I was at that hospital every day for 3 straight weeks. And I had a chance to meet his grandfather, his mother, and they're telling me all these stories about gang culture in Compton and how they grew up. But then when it got down to the root of it, they talked about his childhood and how a majority of his friends were black. And so it's like, to me, I know for a fact, like to a man, if you were to ask somebody, before all the gang stuff, when you was in elementary school, you mean to tell me you didn't have no black friends? Absolutely they did. You know what I mean? And so do you want your kids to grow up with that same kind of childhood you had before the gang stuff? And they'll say yes. And I said, if that's what you want, then you have to practice what you preach. You have to live it out. It's not about what you're saying. It's about what you're doing. And so for me, like, that's really like my message, because when I grew up, my friends was Mexican. But when I joined the gang, like I said, them was my worst enemies. And now that we're older and we all in prison together and all that stuff, it's like, we got to get out of prison. Now we're out here in society together and we're like, we got to stop this. And just to show you real quick how much time has changed, like I said, I go to Cal State LA. It's in East Los Angeles. Man, I'm on Eastern Avenue, Tierra Mia Coffee. Man, I'm the only black in sight. And hey man, what's up, man? Man, they love black people, bro. And like I said, when you talk about like, the culture and all these things, to a man, if you get down to the root of it, man, they always loved our people, always. But going back to the question of how this hate started to spew, I mean, it's clear. It's the system. It's designed to put us against each other, bro. And we have to be smart enough not to see those devices, bro.
Divide and conquer for sure.
Yep.
What is the first lie prison taught you?
Man, there's many lies, but I would say the main one was that I had no value. I had no worth. And so also in the political climate, 2026 is going to be midterm elections. And the most important office that is held is the district attorney. And I remember when I was in that courtroom and the prosecutor was saying, Your Honor, we want to sentence Brandon Baker to the highest level, the punishment that is allowable, because he is a threat to society. He is a monster. He is an animal. You talk about racist. Be in the courtroom charged with anything, and you're going to see exactly how that system feels about you, right? And so the biggest lie that I received, well, I didn't receive it, but what was told to me was I didn't matter. So therefore, that means all the gang violence I perpetuated my first 15, 16 years of prison, fighting, stabbing people, cell phones, selling drugs, trying to manipulate staff to bring me stuff in, it's all because I didn't have that self-worth. I felt like I didn't matter. So I got to be big whoop-de-whoop from whoop-de-whoop. You know what I mean? Because I want to feel like I matter. And they took that from me. So there was a reclaiming that had to happen to say, I don't need that identity to matter. I don't have to be this person to matter. Shit, I could just be myself.
Right.
And
it's crazy. It's crazy that you said that, like being in that courtroom and you really have no peers in there, and then you just really in there. You're just there. You're just there while you watch people dictate the outcome of the rest of your life. Like that's a crazy feeling, because you have zero control at that point.
Facts.
People that's not from your community, people that don't have no
Oh,
relation
man.
to the way you grew up. Nobody in there that looks like you. And like you said,
Sign
they're
up for jury
dictating
duty
the rest
too.
of your life.
That's another big thing, man. If they call you for jury duty, you
He
black.
said,
go.
you better go.
Go.
That ain't that crazy.
Hey, because I'm one of them niggas like, nigga, I ain't going to jury duty for
That's
nothing.
Go.
negative, man.
Fuck up out of here.
Man.
Never
Bro,
got it.
Yes.
Bro,
Out.
if
And
you
then I
got,
thought
if you got
about
a
that.
jury with your life on the line and you look over and you see 10 whites and 2 Hispanics and not 1 black,
You know you cooked.
I'm cooked.
Yeah, you cooked.
So now the prosecutor knows this and they say, here, take 40 years. 16, 17 years, take 40 years. Because you go to trial, you're getting life without possibility of parole. Shit, man, I see what the jury look like. I'm going to take that deal.
Yeah,
Innocent and all that.
because I just had a thought too of how we always look at the system like we don't want no parts of the system. If you become a cop when you grow up, we damn near exile you from the world. I'm like, we playing the game all wrong. Like you look at LAPD, they 49.5% Hispanic. We know a lot of them be racist and we get the
COs
short end
too,
of the stick.
correctional officers too.
Right, COs too. So when you in there, they COs looking out. We ain't got nobody to look out. So I'm thinking a lot of us, we need to start becoming cops. We need DAs. We need lawyers.
Absolutely.
We need judges. We need to be a part of
Everybody
the
got a
system
part to play.
that is controlling us. If this system is quote unquote controlling us and holding us back, which that's a whole nother story, we need to get a part of it to where we can have some type of say so and skin in the game and make
That
our
part
chess
right
moves
there.
for our people.
Yeah, if that's the case though, I think they still need to structure that a certain way. I think they need to allow the same way they do school districts. You can't even police over here unless you grew up around here and understand these
yeah.
neighborhoods because
Yep.
we could be from Long Beach, but then you go get somebody from the IE that
Yep.
doesn't know nothing, don't know nothing about the people, and that's gonna create more havoc in our communities anyway.
You know, and also it goes back to, you know, for me, like I said, I don't believe in appeasing the people based on their identity. I appease the people based on their consciousness. And when I say, like, I don't hate police officers, I just don't like the police departments. I don't say that I hate correctional officers. I just hate prison. You know what I mean? It's the system within itself. It's not the human beings that are part of this system. And so when we can get to a level of identifying and connecting with that consciousness to say, I'm going to go to the police meeting, right? And see the police chief and talk to him. Hey, man, I'm going to bring all the kids in the neighborhood. You see these little dudes over here? Don't mess with them. That's my son, or that's my nephew, or that's my bro's son. Don't mess with them. They good kids. So now when they come around to the neighborhoods, they know, like, okay, that's so-and-so's son. Because that's how it used to be back in the day. So when people were in an uproar over something, they had a legit reason to be in an uproar because you didn't have no business coming over here messing with us in the first place.
It's crazy you say that because the police chief where I stay, he's heavily involved in my son's football team, but I didn't know he was the police chief at the time. He was just a cool older white dude, you know, that knew a lot about football and working out. Then I found out he was the police chief. I'm like, damn. Now I get pulled over. Man, you wouldn't believe how many passes I done got.
Wow.
Like, it's
See?
crazy. And it's just because I was cool and
That
cordial with
rapport.
him rather than being like, oh man, fuck the police and getting hemmed up. And it's really just about the mindset and how you approach it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's
wild.
Nah, that should be crazy because I always
Yeah.
watch the shows about the small towns and everybody know the police chief. It really be like that in a lot of places.
Yep.
And it's
Nah,
crazy
nah,
because I
you-
didn't have that mindset as a kid or as a youth. It was completely fuck the police. I'm talking about I'm ready to go get tatted. Fuck the police. Like I'm finna eat my body up like fuck the police. I'm glad I didn't do that shit either though, because that would have been a crazy bullseye to put on myself at a young age like that.
Yeah, nah, but you still see it in the going in the inner cities. It's like you said, the consciousness. How do you change the consciousness of them at this point? Because a lot of them are programmed a certain
Yeah.
way. They get in here, they're taught, you know, police got gangs within the police. They got a lot of different things in that sense. And that's why I said they would have to flush out damn near everybody out of certain neighborhoods for that to rearrange that. Because
Yeah.
even like you said, in the prison systems, they're still corrupted in there. They're still going to be a certain way.
Sure.
Even when it comes to our people, they want to adjust to them.
Yeah.
You might get a
Yeah.
select small percentage where it's like, nah, they gonna be what they gonna be, but
Yeah.
majority of them is gonna adopt that ideology also.
Yeah, so you know, for me, I never want to be like, you know, feeble-minded to think that people can't change or to think a small group of people speak for the voice of the larger masses. And so when we look at a system is gonna do what a system is set to do, right? You know, it's going to be flawed, it's going to be corrupted, because eventually, like, that's what it was put in place to do. So in order to change that, to get away from that, you have to start to develop a culture where you can say, hey man, the police chief, man, his son and my son, hey, they play football together, man, and he's cool. And so what happens is, when people start seeing that, guess what? You're going to have more people to start to emulate that, because people follow what they see. It's like, don't show me, don't tell me, show me. So that's how you're going to be able to change the cultures, just by showing them. And whenever something comes out, you got to call it out. And nobody should be silent whenever you see an injustice anywhere. Like, everybody should come out and speak out against that.
No, facts, because silence is agreement. If you don't speak on it, you might as well just say you agree with it.
Absolutely.
And your voice is the most powerful tool. That's the reason why they spend billions and millions of dollars on silencing people. You see people getting taken out for their words, because your words revoke actions. Your words can move nations to follow you and make movements. So don't never let nobody tell you, oh man, you just talking. You just on the internet talking. Ask Charlie Kirk. He was on the internet just talking. But guess what? You saw what happened to him. They was afraid of what his voice could do. So wake y'all game up.
So at what point during your time, or what sparked you to like reevaluate certain things and change the mindset? Because like you said, you had a mindset when you was younger before you wasn't racist. Then you got into a point where you feel like you had to be in survival mode, and being from a gang, you might have to operate a certain way when you in prison. What point did you like wake up and be like, this ain't it?
Yeah. So for me, and that's really a great question. So I like to make the distinction. There's like a turning point, and then there's a coming to remorse moment. So I had several turning points. October 20th, 2015, that's my birthday. That's my sobriety date. And so I remember an ex-girlfriend of mine, I already lost my visits, and it was my birthday in prison. I got 2 cell phones. I got bottles of Patron, 3 grams, blueberry blunt wraps.
You going up.
I'm on Instagram.
He in there going up. You going crazy.
Because once again, of that hole that was in my heart, me wanting to be relevant. And she straight up told me, she said, you're not a man. I was like, what you mean I'm not a man? She said, as a man, you never put the things that matter the least in front of what matters the most. And when she said that, boom, high is gone. So that was like the first turning point. I haven't got high or drunk ever since then. The following month, November, Thanksgiving 2015, I gave my life to Christ. That was another turning point. But when I talk about, it didn't mean I was perfect, because it was still, struggles along the way. But that coming to remorse moment was February 20th, 2021, when I got to Lancaster on A-Yard, man. And I moved in the cell. I had a cellmate at the time. And he said he hadn't got not one write-up his whole time in prison. He'd been down 20 years at the time. I said, man, where? I was like, that's like weird. The culture like.
You didn't get right up for nothing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was like,
look at him wrong.
You walking out hallway for nothing.
115, you out of here.
So I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, dude, this gotta be you weird or something. Something ain't right. I said, so where were you? He said, man, I was in High Desert. I was in Corcoran. I was in Calipat. Now I'm here. I said, man, you was in 3 of the most notorious prisons in the state of California. You haven't got not one write-up. I said, how's that even possible? He said, because I have remorse. He said, man, when I got convicted and sentenced in that court, he said, I know I did not want to be the person I was when I went into prison. And so I was like, oh, that stuck with me. But then after that, I just watched him, how he moved. Because, when you're in the cell with someone.
He was in the chaos, but he wasn't amongst the chaos.
Exactly.
It's like you said, when they go to mindset, it's like you're not even attracting certain things. You might just dodge the fight at Chow, or you might be certain things the way he moving probably.
Man. And so, and just seeing him like live his life, making amends. He was the college clerk. That's how I got into college. He's giving back, tutoring, and helping people in prison. These are the stories that people are not talking about. Like, he's doing fundraisers and all this stuff. And so he ended up leaving. And when he left, I just kind of picked up the torch and just did exactly what he was doing. So I said, going back to, people believe what they see. And if they see it long enough and they know it's genuine, they'll follow it. I followed that man. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't what he was telling me, it was what I was seeing. Because when you're in a cell with someone, you can't fake the funk. Like, we in here together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you trying to, you like the growth, or you like the way he moving. So it's like I'm trying to better myself. So I'm going to go by example. But to go back to what she told you, when she,
I know that hit like a dagger in the heart. Hold on, what you mean?
But for making her say that, what was her initial point? Because that's what you was putting out to the world.
Yeah. So, so in prison, for everybody who's been in prison, when you're in a relationship, visits is everything. So, there was.
Oh, you lost your visit because of that.
Because I was high. I had a dirty test. So, in there, there was a saying, you lose your visits, you lose your girl. Not in those words, basically. So I lost my visits and she was still there and I was still getting high and getting drunk. So what she was saying is me getting high and getting drunk was more important in that relationship. And so that's why she said, you never, as a man, you never put the things that matter the least in front of what matters the most. So anytime I make a decision now, I have that in my mind. What I'm doing right now, is this something that matters the most to me, or is this something that doesn't matter?
Nah, that's
What
a
was
bar.
you married to your woman?
And so,
Or you met her
I said,
in there?
But so no, for her,
You just
and
getting
this-
visits,
and
or you
so-
was able to get conjugals?
No. So you have to get married in order to get conjugals. But like at this time, this is 2015. So for her, the girl I'm talking about, I've known her since junior high school. And so she told me, she was like, man, I don't care if you got to spend the rest of your life in prison. She said, I would do the time with you. I just want you to be a better person now than when you went in. She said, man, we've been at the time, she said, we've been together for 2.5, 3 years. I still don't know Brandon. I only see Maniac. You know what I mean? Like, this is not, and so when she told me that, it was just like, it was a reality check for me.
Did having her help you do your time, or did it make your time harder? Because I remember I talking to an OG in there my first time in the county. He said, man, I'm gonna tell you this, because he seen me stressing over my little bitch at the time. Like, this bitch ain't sending no money. She ain't writing going on. He said, look, youngster, anytime I come to jail, I drop my whole roster. Anybody I'm talking to, I let them go, because I'm not finna be in here stressing about why she ain't calling, why she ain't putting money on the books, who she out there fucking. I just do my time and I let them know, if you really care about me and you there when I get out, we could reconnect. But I'm not finna be in here around all these killers and trying to stay alive and worry about what you on the outs doing.
So, two things can be true. Now, I can see like in one instance, where people feel like there's a part of them that has to die, or they have to suppress it in order to survive the nightmares of prison, because it's not fun. Like, it's horrible. But on the flip side, it's something to be said about having that connection. Because if you don't have that human connection, the most cruelest thing the prison takes away from you is that connection, where you can't wake up to your girl every day. You can't pick up the phone, baby, I love you. You can't get a hug. Man, my mom died on Mother's Day 2016. I didn't even get a hug. I couldn't call anybody when I wanted to. I couldn't vent and talk to anybody because I was on my own. And what you think that did to me, man? You know what I mean? Losing my grandma, best friends, childhood friends, and you just gotta numb it up and just keep pressing forward. You know what I mean? I remember, man, 2012 on Trade Day, man, my grandma had died a couple of months ago, and I went into a deep depression. It was one of my homies at the time was fighting his celly. And in there, his celly, I'm supposed to be a head up. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is an excuse to go to the hole. Smack. Now we all going, man. It's 10 on 6, riot out here and stuff. And now I'm in the hole because I couldn't control what was going on inside of me. I was crying out,
So what was the rules of that relationship? Because if she's like, I'm gonna do the time with you, but you got life, was you telling her, look, you could just do whatever you want to do on the house, but just keep them visits coming, keep the packages coming?
Yeah. So, it's also like, at that time, I wasn't prepared for that relationship. There's a certain maturity that has to come along with that. And so for me, I would just share with you guys. I remember I was in county jail. Like I said, I came in, I was 18. So when you young, you're impressionable. You soaking everything in. I had an older guy. He was from Pomona. And he was basically lacing me up. Like when I first came to jail, I had about 200 females. I was the dude, my homie on the 4,000 floor, I'm on 2,000 floor, for to get you popped out for visits, whatever. And he told me, he said, you might as well give me all them numbers. I was like, man, you tripping. He said, man, listen, man, there's only 3 things gonna keep a woman around. I'm not gonna say the exact word, but he said it's sex, money, and conversation. He said, why you think you see a fine woman, to stay around and, the dude treat him like shit? He said, because the sex is good. She didn't mess with a dude with something this small. You think she finna mess off some good D? It's not happening. He said, why you think you see a fine woman with a big, fat, ugly dude? He said, because that's her sugar daddy. He said, every woman got somebody she can call to get some money. And he said, why do you think women mess with dudes in jail? He said, because conversation. And he said, if your conversation good enough, it's going to overpower the sex and the money, right? And so, boom, this is my introduction at 18 years old. Right then and there, I picked up a pen and paper, boom. And so I never went without. But for me, at that time, I was not ready for a good woman because my intentions were never good. It was manipulation. It was craftiness. What you gonna do for me?
I don't care. I'm gonna use you for.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I'm locked up. I need it all.
Yeah, I need the package.
Nigga, I need to send a package to my celly who ain't getting the package. Nigga, the smoker ain't getting the package. I need it all. I need everything. Run it in.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, man, once again, man, to the women that are holding our brothers down in there, man, shout out, because it's definitely not for the weak. And I know for a fact, like, there are good dudes in there. Some dudes is not, but I do know that there are some good dudes. You just have to be at a level of maturity to understand your blessing, to know that woman is God's gift to man. It's not the other way around.
That's a
So
fact.
you have to know the woman that God has put into your life and deal with her accordingly. But once again, if you don't have that level of consciousness, then as a real woman, you have to ask yourself, is this man even worth your time? If he's a man at all.
Was you a reader?
Nah.
Oh, no, go ahead. I ain't mean cut you
Nah,
off.
I was just gonna say one thing to piggyback off what he was saying. It's like niggas that get women that hold niggas down for decades or however long, niggas got to stop coming home and fucking them right over immediately. Like at least come home, do right, and if she do wrong, then do your thing. But a lot of niggas that do that right out the gate. And I think it's just like
what's fucking it off though? Like, okay, let's say you like, cause I really think about this situation. If a nigga is locked up,
I want to hear this too.
15, 20 years.
I'm not
you
saying
held
15
him
or
down.
20.
No, I'm saying this is what I hear from women. I held him down all these years. He got out, started fucking with other bitches. Fuck the relationship up. If a man is realistically in a cage for 15, 20 years, shouldn't he have a free pass to just run through some ass?
See,
In my opinion, I'm gonna say he need a potential threat.
When I say
Fuck that.
When I say fuck him off is deeper than that because 9 times out of 10, the bitch that invested her time, she invested her money, she did everything else. Then probably set you up with a spot with her, all type of shit. And a nigga come home and skate on a bitch, run her credit through the dirt, do everything else. I mean, fuck her off in that way, not just fucking bitches. I just mean just overall, it ain't add up, cause that's all it is.
Oh, okay, you talking about that because
So
I'm not saying just go fuck bitches crazy, right? But what I'm saying is everybody that I know, female wise, who held a man down in prison, that's the number one thing they say. As soon as he got out, he started talking to other women, and that ruined everything.
So one thing I never believe in is that nobody should be naive or ignorant to anything. And just because a person is naive to something doesn't mean you should withhold that from them. So the only thing I say is like, I don't care what you're doing, if it's right or wrong, as long as you're honest. If you're honest about it, that means your intentions were good. So if I come home, I'm in a relationship, and when I come home and I say, hey, man, I've been in prison for 25 years. If you don't think that I would be entertaining any other woman, you got to be out of your mind. You see what I mean? But I'm honest. Now, is this something that you can deal with? Okay, yes, okay, boom, 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 boom. Okay, then that's that. But as far as like just getting out, because I be seeing dudes, they'll ghost the woman and stuff like that. That's wrong. But I also know on the flip side, guys that have gotten out and married their wife and they husbands and fathers and they happily ever after. But like I said, to me, it's just all about what are your intentions and if you're being honest and transparent from the beginning. Because I always say, if you honest with me, I can make my own decisions. You know what I mean?
But
And
9 times out of 10, ain't no nigga in jail telling a female when I get out, I'm fucking another bitch.
That's what shit, her ass is out of
He
there.
already programmed to think that he was coming home to fuck with her only.
Man, you know that jail talk
I know,
late
I
night.
know.
Yeah, baby, when I get out,
that's the
it's
problem. I'm saying this, but what he's saying,
that's what keep the packages
I
coming.
know,
nigga.
that's fact.
Fuck
But
you mean?
What I'm saying is, he talking about once you get out and just keep it real.
Yeah, that shit
You
over
already
with.
told her for 5 years, nigga, you wasn't doing that.
Hold up, but
Now
time
as soon
out.
as you get out, it's over.
Exactly. Like this nigga been lying to me for 5 years.
Hey, but you want to know something though? A lot of women that I know personally, they will deal with it as long as you're being honest. Because at that point, you just got to be a man to say, what I'm saying right now, you can leave me right now today, but I owe you honesty. You know what I mean? Like if I really love you and I care about you, I'm gonna just keep it real. And also from the flip side, I could tell you from experience, if you've been in prison, you ever try to break up with a woman while you're in prison, it's not gonna happen, bro. Because that connection, that bond is so deep. It's dudes on the street, they literally only want them for one thing, sex. But when you in prison, baby, how was your day? You doctor feeling them. Hey, man, what's going on with your kids? You know, the kids, especially single mothers that have young kids, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. Man, my son is hanging around with the wrong crowd. I don't know how to get through to him. Baby, do this. Boom, 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 boom. You plant that seed. You follow up, water it. Bro, that bond, that's solid, bro. That's not going nowhere. Even if you say, when I get out, I might mess around, but that don't mean I'm going to leave you.
But women got to be realistic with that. Like you said, nigga doing all that time, he gonna live a little. But like you said, I think just the most part is because you stand in their ear. So I think for them, that's what they reciprocate. Most niggas on the streets ain't in a bitch ear
ain't
like
trying to
that.
hear none of that shit. Hey, my son, man, you better go call his daddy. Fuck is you talking? Fuck is you talking about? Call his daddy is crazy. You know, nigga in prison, like, man, put little man on the phone. Put that little man, put little nigga on the phone.
Viral go talk to you, you come home from school.
Yeah. Okay, tripping. Yeah. But for the most part too, you stand in their ear. You know they be wanting a nigga time on the streets for the most part too much, especially if they deal with street niggas and expected that nigga just to be not moving around a certain way. And I think that's another big misconception. It's like you got to understand what you're dealing with too, because they can think they can change you and make you become something else. Yeah. So. Yeah, I don't know. That shit is wild.
Yeah, that's deep, bro. That's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother
Look, I could go all day with that. Yeah, because I know plenty of females who done when niggas in jail, and when he get out, hey, he might want a Latina, he might want a little Colombian, he might want a Venezuelan, he want to taste the flavors, and they get mad like, listen, you got to be real.
Yeah,
bro was in the cage,
man.
You should be bringing him to him. You know he gonna come home to you at night. Don't even trip,
man.
So how many different prisons were you in during this time?
So my first prison was New Folsom, level 4, 180. At the time, that was the worst prison in California. From there, I went to Centinela, Calipatra, made it to Donovan, and then Lancaster on B yard, level 4, and then I paroled from A yard. Yeah.
Okay, was you in any prison riots during this time?
Yeah, absolutely, man. 2014 Calipatra A yard, which at the time was considered the most violent and bloodiest riot in the prison. 3 people were murdered. One of them by the tower, with the Mini 14. It was
that was horrible. The one on YouTube, right?
Yeah, it was horrible. Yeah.
What was going through your mind when that kicked off?
Man, it's go time. I remember, man, I was at the Dice game, So at the time it was Building 1 and Building 3. I was the MAC rep in Building 1. Remember, it was at the Dice game, and over there, like by Building 3, the little pisser area, you clearly see a black getting jumped by a couple of Mexicans. So at that time, you don't know what's going on and what this about. You don't got, it's go time. And so you just see everybody running from over there, off the tables, and it's up. Building 1 and Building 3. Then finally, after like 15, 20 minutes of just fighting and just chaos, they split us up. They put the blacks inside like the weight pile. Building 3 is on the other side of the gate, and then they were done. And I remember it was 2 dudes. One dude was from Santana Block, another dude from West Covina Mob. They the 2 littlest dudes in the cage, and one of them they woofing on the Mexicans. I'm looking at it, I said, man, you want to go again? You want to go again? Because for me, I'm the MAC rep at the time, and I know that this Game 7 NBA Finals, because once we get back to the cell, I don't want to hear about you didn't do what you need to do. Now you want to run back. Like, we going to do it right now. And I remember older dude was like, oh, no, yeah, that's the bad call. Man, I ran out the gate. We was back up again. So, but by the grace of God, that was my only race riot as far as like with Mexicans that I was in prison. I've been in them inside county jail, but in prison, and I never want to glorify it. I never want to experience that again. Like, it was not fun.
What was the difference of the magnitude and the seriousness versus a county jail riot versus that prison riot?
Because in the county jail, you kind of expect it. So, blacks are a little more on their P's and Q's in county jail than in prison, because when you go into court, I know if you go into Long Beach Tank, you know what I mean? Or if you go to Pomona Court, or certain courts that is just like it's racial tension with street shit, because in the county jail, there's really no politics. So I know if I go I remember one time, man, I was on the 2000 floor, a freeway sleeper. They put the bunks on the freeway. I seen a SA dude. I shot this dude before. We had many run-ins at camp, juvenile hall, on the streets. And when he seen me, it was only like 5 blacks on the tier. He took off his shirt. He rushed me. Boom. Now it's a riot right here. So in the county jail, you're already kind of prepared for it. In prison, you expect, it's not going to go up unless it's just really bad.
A little different.
Yeah, exactly.
But you could feel the tension before it go up. Like, did you know the day it was gonna go up? Because usually when you hit the yard and they plotting, you could feel it in the air without even knowing. Like, man, something going on.
Yeah. So I mean, for the most part, yes. But then there's also like the spur of the moment issues. Like, they could be literally over there playing handball or something. Especially when you got the dynamics of drugs, gambling, debts. Like, you just don't know what can happen. So at the drop of a dime, you could be in a riot. So, once again, but like, as far as like the tension and all that stuff in that situation, it was not that. It just seemed like it was just another regular day, and it just literally just went up. So, yeah.
So what's some, I want to get back to what you was asking just before. Did you do well, it sounded like you do. You sound like a, what do they call it? Fluent speaker. So
well-established orator, level 4 orator.
So did you read a lot of context? Like, 'cause I know for me, I used to read a lot of when I first went to jail, I read a lot of what I want to say, man. What's the urbans?
Yeah, the urban,
a lot of the urban
novels,
books, the urban things. Then I got
Iceberg Slim.
Yeah, exactly.
The coldest winter ever.
Yeah.
But once I got introduced to certain books, I said I'm done reading any fiction books. Like
Yeah.
I never started reading them again. Like for the most part, unless it's like a book like The Alchemist.
Yeah.
But outside of that, like what type of books did you read?
So for me, I always say like my favorite book of all time is Soul on Ice by Eldridge Cleaver. And it's another thing that I don't
He
like.
was like a cold nigga though. How they
He
had
was
it
cold.
there, huh?
And the irony of it is he wrote it while he was in prison. So this is the thing. We have to stop bashing people from our history. Like, I don't care how his life ended out and he went, I don't care about none of that stuff. I'm going back to that book. And for me, I always talk about, you know, the autobiography of Frederick Douglass and Soul on Ice versus Eldridge Cleaver. And so I actually have a book that's out right now, Where I Belong. And so when people talk to me about like, why did I write my book the way I did? I said, because autobiography of Frederick Douglass, very powerful book, very meaty, but it's a hard read. You see what I mean? I said I read that book one time, but Soul on Ice, I've read it 7 or 8 times. And you want to know the difference? It was the delivery. You know, it was his wit. You know, it was his sarcasm, you know, his philosophy, you know, and he was talking about current world events from the perspective of someone who's in prison on the sideline watching everything. Because, you know, when you're in prison, you stay up to date. I watch the news. I'm reading books, magazines. I'm up to date on everything. I'm not no dinosaur, and I have an opinion about everything. But so I would say is like, you know, I've read several books, but that would be like my main one is Soul on Ice, Eldridge Cleaver. I love Man's Search for Meaning by Victor E. Frankl. Oh, there it is, right? Oh,
Look, he went to go get it. He said, ain't no cap in my rap. Nigga, we really got that.
That book too, the Wretched
ain't no
of the
cap in
Earth.
my rap.
He said that this is literally the Bible of revolution.
It's crazy.
You know?
This is the
That's
book
the
he
book
talking
right
about.
there.
Bro
Man.
probably don't even remember he got me this book when I was in the pen. Yeah. So this was a cold book.
Man.
He was a cold nigga.
That's my favorite book. And then he also had this other book, you know, the post-prison speeches, you know, when this dude ran for governor and, you know, going to college campuses. And this is another thing we talk about the message. There has never been any movement that didn't start on the college campus. You know, this dude going up there to Stanford, Cal Berkeley, UCLA, calling out Ronald Reagan when he was, you know, the governor of California. I noticed, it was
another one you just named that I heard you just say.
Man's Search for Meaning by Victor E. Frankl.
Victor E. Frankl.
That's another book because for me, you know, being in prison, you know, clearly, you know, he talks about like, you know, the Holocaust and the concentration camps. And it was just showed me, like he said, he had one quote in the book. I literally wrote a curriculum just based on that quote. He said, if a man has a why to live, he can overcome anyhow. Yep. And he talked about his wife, the love he had for his wife and how that got him through the most horrible situations. And for me, I'm big on the why. Whenever I hear someone's story, why? Nipsey Hussle has a quote. He said, you can have it all. It's all about your reason. You know, it's all about why do you want this?
Right. We've had a few episodes. We talk about the why factor, and that's the biggest key, and that's what, like you said, what keeps people going. That's crazy though. But
that's wild. He said Soul on Ice because that's actually
my favorite book.
That's a classic album too. It's one of my favorite albums.
Man.
If you familiar with Razzcast,
oh,
Soul on Ice, classic, bro.
Remain anonymous. Man, we can go back old school underground hip hop, LA culture. Hey, man. Yeah, man. Shout out to Razzcast, man.
Definitely shout out to Razzcast, one of the West Coast lyricists that don't get enough credit.
I remember I had the tape Remain Anonymous. Yeah.
Do you rap?
So for me, you know, growing up, like, you know, my friend John, you know, like in that circle, I definitely was a rapper growing up. I don't rap too much now. I still mess around
Everybody
here and there.
got it. It's like all of us got it in us.
Yeah, here and there. But I do perform, you know, spoken word poetry. That's something I'm really big on. Like, I'm never going to stop performing. Like I said, my book, Where I Belong, it's a bunch of short stories of my life, poetry. And when I do like these book signings, I perform like my material. So, you know, it's in me, not on me.
So what you think about the yards getting flipped right now, where they saying every yard in California is eventually going to be damn near 50-50. Well, that's how they trying to make it. What you think about that? And what you think about people paroling from 50-50 yards? Because, you know, we got different politics than the Hispanics do.
So I would just say this, right? Like I said, I was never on a 50-50 yard or none of that stuff. But when I came home as a former lifer, one of the conditions of your release is you have to go to a transitional house. Right. And so inside these transitional houses,
it's 50-50.
It's 50-50. Like, I know for a fact it was dudes in that house that was in prison. You would have got stabbed up. You couldn't have been on the same yard as me. You know, so if we're not doing these same politics in society, like, I can come home straight from a level 4 and be in the house with a dude that I know is no good and it's no problems. Why do I have to have this same kind of mindset if that's what's going to keep me in prison? So like I said, at the end of the day, I don't promote the 50-50 yards or whatever, but I say is that each man renders his own verdict. You know what I mean? And as a man, you have to make the decision that's going to be best for you and your family. So if going to that yard means that you go home, who cares what other people think about you? Because at the end of the day, you are standing on business of, I'm a father, I'm a husband, you know what I mean? My mom, some people, mothers, by the grace of God, are still alive, and you have an opportunity to go home. And we know that the system is going to do what it's designed to do. So if they're saying these people are going home and they say, we got to throw a wrench in the program to stop you guys from going home, because I know when you guys get on the yard, it's finna go up. And guess what? When it goes up for the lifers that are going to parole board, that's an automatic 5-year denial.
Yeah, because I see a lot of the dudes on YouTube who some of them was reputables in their neighborhood, some of them was hitters in their neighborhood.
Yep.
And they did a lot of time, over 10 years. And, you know, the law changes and they got action at going home and shortening their sentence. But the condition is you got to parole off this 50-50.
Yep.
And they neighborhood ain't accepting that.
Yep.
They like, hey, when you come home, all that shit you did for the set,
Yep.
all them 10, 15 years, is over with.
But even, go ahead.
I was gonna say back to what you were saying, and the key point.
Your mic,
Key point.
plug it in.
The key point is what they all miss is that, like you said, everything is by design. Because wasn't it that way in the 90s at first? It wasn't really, everybody was mixed in. I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but not saying that that's cool, but they're stopping, you know, a lot of lifers, a lot of people starting to get, you know, the family visits and stuff again. They get a lot of benefits of being a lifer. And now by you getting put in these, what they're trying to do is they're going to take that away from yourself.
Yep.
Like you said, you're not going to go to the board. It's not going to be no good for you. You're not going to get them contracles. You're going to miss a lot of your benefits of being able to live in those situations based on what they're trying to do.
Yeah. And so I would just say for me, my first step into manhood when I realized I was finally a man was when I stopped caring what other people thought about me. You know, and so for people that are in that situation, is still dealing with trauma, the shame, and feeling like I did so much to build this reputation and I got to hold on to it. And God forbid someone I grew up with decided to say, hey, man, I'm going over here to the shark. I want to go home. And I'm going to smut you up and talk bad about you because you're making the right decision for your family. And also just from the whole gang ideology. Like I said, I got put onto my neighborhood. I was 13 years old. I was 13 years old when I got jumped onto my neighborhood. 4 dudes jumped on me, knocked me out. First thing we got up, smoked a blunt. Hey, cuz, you know, you the homie and all this, that stuff. And so how in the hell I'm going to be 44 years old right now, still holding on to an identity that was given to me at 13 years old? I still have that same belief system. If you have a 13-year-old son and he makes a bad decision, are you going to hold that against him for the rest of his life? Not a chance. But we hold ourselves to that same kind of standard. And so I believe that everybody has their own choice. Each man renders his own verdict. So if you want to change your life and make that decision, you have every right to. You don't have to hold on to this identity. But if you want to hold on to this identity where you know it's going to lead to a path of nothing, then that's what you signed up for.
Arrested development. A lot of people in our community suffer from
Man.
arrested development. Like I say, you be 45 and still mentally 15, and that's what's really plaguing a lot of our communities.
Yep.
And I think we just need to get a movement. A lot of people don't have a movement and they don't have an identity that they view as self-worth. So, hey, this name I got from the big homie, that's my self-worth for the rest of my life. Like you said,
Man.
imagine you got a son and at 13, for the rest of his life, the only thing that matters is what mattered to him at 13.
Man.
That's crazy. That's a
deep.
crazy way to look at life.
It's
And a
deep,
lot
man.
of
It's
our
deep.
people
It's
is
deep
looking
when
at
you
it that
think about
way.
it. And even not even, we big on speaking on knowledge of self and more so learning things because you have to continue to grow in life. And I think a lot of people are just, what do they call it? And I can't find the word I'm looking for. But basically just in the mind, it's like the growth is stunted there. It stops, like y'all said, completely. And people are not open enough to even to continue to see what's behind that box when you pull that vial away. So I think I encourage people. I try to even introduce people to more things. Like we talk and they wonder, like, especially my bro, he's super smart. You know what I mean? I build on the things I need to learn, or if I don't know something, I'm gonna go look into it. I'm gonna go dive deep down the rabbit hole. And I never want to act like I know everything because you know those people usually don't know nothing. So it's more so I just encourage growth in the sense in general.
Absolutely.
Nah, facts. What you think about 2025, all the gang politics that spilled online?
So you know, there's two realities. Like I said, I always say that like I'm in the way, but I'm out the way. Like at any given time, you can see me on the streets of Pomona, West Covina to South Central to Compton. Like I'm all over the place. Or even on the beach, it doesn't matter because for me, I have to have a post for the people. Like I have the spirit of Eldridge Cleaver, of Fred Hampton, Malcolm X. Like I have to be with the people. I can't just say something from afar. I have to understand what's really going on within the culture. And so one thing that I have seen is the media will show one thing, but on the street is something completely different. I've seen East Coast and Broadway's peace treating. You know what I mean? Where, this was something that would be foreign. I'm seeing a lot of neighborhoods that had 40 plus years of gang violence have a ceasefire, but that's not being promoted. But the minute this person get killed on Manchester or something, oh, that's all that's going viral, and it's usually the younger generation, that's doing these things for clout. But that's not the reality. Once you get there into these communities and you meet the people, you're like, man, it's not really what it's like, what they're portraying within the media.
Now, I agree. I just think because a lot of the people that's not from Cali, they view what goes on maybe a no jumper as that's the representative of Cali. And I'm trying to tell them, bro, that shit is nothing like that. Like you said, a lot of shit that goes on up there is people trying to get clout and they really trying to find a way out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so it's like, you can't really speak for the culture if you're not in the culture. You know what I mean? And that's why, like I said, I can't have an opinion from a distance. I have to be hands-on and have a pulse for the community that I'm claiming to represent. And so, like I said, when you talk about gang culture, this stuff is like generational. You know what I mean? And so for me, I never promote or glorify like gang violence because I understand like the root of it, where it comes from. And I know ultimately where it's going to lead, in the future. And so for everybody who's watching from a different state that's not from California, right? We want to bring a message of unity. You know what I mean? First and foremost within our community as Blacks, but also for the world in general. Because as I mentioned earlier in this interview is that 2042, look it up. Anybody, you can Google, research. What is the prediction, the projection for the year 2042? America is going to be a minority majority nation. Right. And so keep that in mind, what that's going to look like.
Yeah, you see a lot of white people online panicking. Even Elon Musk himself, he's been using X because, he bought it to spread that awareness to the white community, saying, hey, we're looking at going extinct at the rate of our birth rates right now. We're about to be extinct on the planet. So he's been pushing for white people to up their birth rates around the world.
Yep.
But damn, what I just had a thought in my head. That shit just went blank just now. Damn. I meant to ask him something.
It happens to the best of the players.
No. It has something to do with the with the online shit. Oh, okay, yeah. I often hear people say, "Man, the streets ain't the same. The streets is dead. This gangbang shit over. This shit ain't nothing like it used to be." As if gangbanging and street life, as far as us killing each other, is a bad thing. And that's what really made me reflect and really start pushing this. Man, fuck that. We need to get under one black flag. Because what are you really saying when you say that? Like, this shit watered down. When was it not watered down? When we was chipping each other at astronomical rates?
Man.
Is that what people really want to go back to? Because I hear that all the time. Man, this shit watered down. It's watered down. Okay, well, when you said it's not watered down, we was killing each other at rates that was unheard of. They calling this shit Chirac. They got more niggas killing niggas than deaths in Iraq. What the fuck are we really
I think people
telling ourselves?
I think in a sense, like you said, I'm gonna let you answer. Go ahead.
No, go.
Nah, because I think when you younger, or even when you in a certain space, like you said, you have a certain camaraderie. You feel like it's fun in a sense. You feel like a lot of things you feel like you living lawless in a sense. So you feel like you in control of your life. You doing the things that you want to do. I think, in my opinion, and I think that's why people feel like now you got so much. You got so much telling going on. You get to a certain age, then like you said, you realize you lose all your homies. You start to enjoy certain things you can't enjoy no more. I think people come to grips with that. And a lot of with the internet stuff, like you said, it's just not the same. I think people are more what we talk about, the nostalgia. You want things to be what they was, which they never will be, because change is the only thing that's going to be constant.
Absolutely.
And people are still holding on and looking backwards when you should be looking forward, but we stuck in the rear view.
So you think they more so looking at the good times of that, not necessarily
it wasn't always
super
bad,
negative
but
parts.
you felt like most niggas feel like he said, your ego, you felt like you was that nigga, you was pressing lines, you was doing certain things, but then all them niggas, I tell niggas every time, the niggas that's sitting down, the jail calls that I get, don't not one of them ever tell me if they had a chance to change what they did, they would go change it. Regardless of what they did in 1 minute or not, these niggas that's doing life, they gonna tell you the same thing, nigga. That shit is out, nigga.
Yeah.
Just keep focused, doing what you do, because niggas will tell you, stop going to the set, stop doing this. Yeah, we still engage, we still deal with people because these are still people you actually grew up with. But for the most part, majority of them niggas that get out, you do got the people that get out and come right back. The niggas that sat down and, like you said, got time off their back like you did, if they able to do that, I highly doubt them niggas would be participating in the sense of the way they did before.
You know, and so it's like for me, and it's important that I highlight this, man, because I came into prison, like I said, I was 18 years old, New Folsom, that's a level 4 180, man. And I mean, every neighborhood in California, I know the big homies from every single section, Crip, Blood, it didn't matter. And they kind of took me in and just laced me up, right? And so when I think about them, you know, they're able to tell me stories of 8 trays and 60s, 6'8" running mate. It's like, you know, that's where they came from, 6'8" running mate, you know? And so when you look at you understand the history and the culture, it's not that difficult to get back to that. But like I said, it's not going to happen with just talk. You have to lead by example. So I can speak from my own community. Like I said, I'm from West Covina. 25 years ago, before I went to prison, you didn't see black on black crime, neighborhood, gangster, hustle. You didn't see none of that stuff. Like, yeah, we was from different sets, but we was together because it was too many Mexicans for us to be beefing with each other. Then throughout the years, for the last 15, 20 years, now this is a thing. Neighborhood and gangster, and so like the neighborhood I'm from, I was from gangster. So, you know, we was pushing trays. Like, so
Right.
when I came home, you know, like I said, I don't bang no more. I don't glorify that lifestyle, but people know who I am. So I'm able to call dudes from neighborhood, say, hey, man, we need to come together, bro. So forget all them young dudes. I'm just talking about me and you. You know what I mean? And so if they see me hanging out with you and we every day together and we doing something positive, or call some dude from Hustle and they see us every day, doing something positive, eventually the next generation is going to say, hey, this is what we need to do. Because true story, 626 day, we was at the park, we were all there, and there was some young dudes, they tried to come and have some conflict. I got right in the middle of it. I said, if somebody's blood's gonna be shed today, it's mine. I'm ready to die for it, because I know the intentions of us being here. And at the end of the day, it was all said and done. Them two little young dudes that was starting all that disturbance, man, they gave me a hug, was like, hey, man, keep doing what you're doing, man. Hopefully next year, them dudes from the other side will come over here too. You see what I mean? This would be a bigger thing where we can actually come together. But like I said, it wasn't me talking from a distance. It's me actually showing with my actions.
But when you say it's easier, why is it so difficult for us outside of prison to be on one accord? Because I don't think it's easy. Because for one, from when I was younger, we had a lot of older heads that interacted with us when we was younger. Now it's the total opposite. It's like the young niggas got no respect for the older niggas, and the older niggas like, I don't even want to deal with them niggas. A lot of what I see. So
why do you think that is?
At the same time, I don't understand it yet, because at the end of the day, I will have to put in more accountability on the ones that came before us, because this is the way y'all brought it and the way y'all set the examples. And to get to another point, we seen the Nipsey Hustles, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, that tried to bring a lot of unity. And what did that really get him initially? Now you get more people in the world that probably wish he never even tried to do nothing for his hood.
Sadly, man. Yeah, that's.
And it was crazy. I think about that a lot. And I think what really changed, I think social media changed a lot of that too. Because prior to social media, you thought your big homie was just a superstar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then you get social media and you see young niggas getting it like Nip and repping a set where we looking at Nip, the younger crowd looking at him like the big homie more than the actual big homies who laid the foundation. Because we looking at them going, you ain't got shit but a lot of prison time and that's it. And you're repping your name and that's it. So, and they looking going, I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? I want what he got. He got the superstar bitch. He got the chains. He got the money. He got the this. So a lot of the younger generation don't respect the older generation because they didn't lay any foundation for the young niggas to follow other than failure. Niggas like, fuck that, nigga, I'm getting money.
Yeah, because it's like it gets to a point where they sell you a dream because they teach you a lot of things. Then you get to a point you realize that you taught me all wrong, or you didn't teach me nothing how to even grow into something. You taught me how to be more growing to something worse for myself.
So the one thing like I will say is that clearly the issue is there's a disconnect. Like you have older dudes that will say, man, these young dudes don't listen. I'm gonna just let the little young dude wreck, because they don't want to listen. And then you have the younger dudes is looking up to older dudes, man, they think they know everything. And then the root of it, let's keep it real, is daddy issues. Man, listen, I had young dudes, man, that I used to mentor, I used to talk to when I was inside prison. And one dude, he's literally my best friend right now. You know who I'm talking about. We literally were in the day room. He straight up told me, "You ain't my daddy." In the middle of the day room, like, whoa, where the hell is this coming from? And so then I really had to sit here and think about it. Like the minute someone says something like that, that shows the bigger issue of like not having a mentor, not having a father figure in that household. It's a hole inside of your heart. And so it's like now when you have older dudes that are sitting there who have created so much destruction in the community, all of a sudden try to tell the young dude not to do what they did, they're gonna say you being a hypocrite. And so this is why I said you can't preach to them, you just have to show them. And so like I said, it's not easy, but it can be done. And so like me and the bro, we were actually having a conversation. I said, you look from the late 70s up until current day. So you've literally had close to 50 years of black on black crime. I can't go to this street, we can't go over here, where we literally been hating each other. And now after 50 years of destruction, my whole lifetime of destruction, you're gonna tell me not to view them like that? I don't wanna hear nothing like that. But if you show me and it's becomes something sustainable, then for the next generation that comes up and they grow up to say, hey man, those dudes that grew up over there, that's not my enemy, that's the bro. Man, we play football together, basketball, or we're investing in business and things of that nature. And sadly, there might have to be a martyr like a Nipsey Hussle, who I clearly believe is a martyr, but I believe what he was doing was right. You know what I mean? Not to discourage the next person that wants to do it. In fact, this should encourage the next person to want to do it. Man, Fred Hampton, I love the people. He said, when I said I love the people, I was ready to die for the people. So I knew what I signed up for. And if I have to be a martyr for this movement, I tell you, that day at that park, them little young dudes, I jumped right in the middle of it. I said, if somebody gonna get killed today, it'll be me. Let my blood be right here, because I was that serious. I'm about peace, love, and prosperity and unity. But I can't do it just talking. I have to be there.
Yeah, I'm about getting us on the same accord. And we gotta do it. It don't always have to follow a tragedy. Because what I notice is we have a lot of these peace talks. I don't even like using the word peace talks. It's just I'm trying to build the camaraderie and get everybody on the same page, but it often follows a tragedy where emotions are up and down. So people, they don't want to go through another tragedy. So they be more willing to, hey, yeah, for sure. And then once them emotions go away, niggas back like, man, fuck these niggas. Like, you feel me? So
yeah, that's facts.
That's why niggas got to come when your emotions is level-headed. Like, everything is normal. That's when I think the progress needs to be at. Not after a big funeral, not after Nip died or Pac died and everybody want to piece it up. Nah, we need to come when everybody is at their highest form, I should say. Got their consciousness in order.
And you know, and like I said, it really just goes back to like leading by example. Like, man, we can create our own culture. Like I said, when I was in prison, whatever is going on in prison, it can transition to society. And the crazy thing is, if we look at like, you know, our brown brothers and sisters, a lot of their culture in society within gang culture is structured off of what? Prison. You know what I mean? So if they can do, we can do the same thing. And so I remember when I was at Folsom, like I said, man, I'm not saying anybody's name, but like one of my mentors when I first came in the criminal lifestyle, he was from Long Beach 20s. Older dude, you know, if I say his name, everybody will know exactly what I'm talking about. But I was with him every day. We was on yard crews and I was just learning from him. And so we knew what was going on with Insanes in the 20s and stuff. Like the older dude from Insane, him and Reese Cup. I'm sorry.
Hey, what's crazy, you just said a name and I already knew.
Yeah,
on the dead homie, I already knew.
I love him, man.
As soon as you said that, I already knew.
That dude told me so much. But like I said, one thing I got from him was the older dude from Insane, they was like best friends.
But you know, for them, at least from our history around their ages, it was a lot different. They was together. It was deuces and trays. So I think a lot of that is different. But even when you go to prison, as far as Long Beach, you wouldn't all Long Beach. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be different regardless in that sense. But I think a lot of those things are projected because you're confined in a place. For one, we don't have the numbers. For two, it makes more sense because we already outcasted as being from Long Beach, at least from our backyard, I would say. And on top of that, you don't have the free will as you would. So you have to have some type of structure here. If we in this garage, or we in a building or wherever we might be at, we have to have a certain structure to live with each other. Or not, it's gonna be whoever's the hardest at this point. Who's ever willing to die at this point?
It's the proximity that keep niggas in order. Because I can touch you right here.
But the question is, how are you able to follow that structure? Because like I said, you can have a young dude to come in straight off the street, say, hey man, We was killing them dudes on the street. It's gonna go up when I'm in here.
He not gonna be that foolish.
Niggas gonna whoop his feet.
And that's the point. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, but
you're following the example that was set before you.
He's not gonna be that foolish because he's stepping into something. For one, he's unaware of how it really works in here. He's stepping into something. For two, you don't got the upper hand with no pistol. You know what I'm saying? You see 3 niggas with some shit on them, you gonna act right.
That Gensu, nigga.
But once again, it goes back to the point of you're following examples that was set before you. Because like I said, there was dudes that had their little conflicts or whatever, and they'll run and they say, man, listen, man, kill that. And then eventually it became like a lot more peaceful. But it started with, the big homie and then the other big homie coming together. And that kind of set the foundation. Now, if them 2 dudes was at odds, then this is gonna be free game for everybody.
And I think another key point is that the rules that we hold in prison are we're holding each other way more accountable. You don't got too many chances to keep thinking you finna keep doing something out here. And I think on the streets it's different. If we say we don't tolerate rats or certain things in that nature, then you get certain niggas that's hanging with them here or doing this there. They're not outcasted. Then it's like there is no rules. Nigga, what I gotta follow that for? I don't gotta listen to this. Y'all don't even follow this structure that y'all pay on, that y'all paved the way for. So it's like, nigga, fuck what you talking about. Then niggas create their own rules.
Selective politics.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Speaking of that, what y'all think of those 2-1 Savage tweets? Have y'all seen that? Are y'all up to date on what's going on with that? Where he was calling out Young Thug to make peace with Gunna, saying, man, we knew he was a rat already. We brushed it under the rug the first time he ratted. So why you tripping that he ratted now? Y'all need to make that right. Let's get Atlanta back cracking. Let's get this money. The streets ain't brought us nothing but trauma and pain. The streets is over pretty much. To me, it sounds like he's basically saying he don't care about snitching.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me because he built his whole career on being the top Atlanta goon, this gangster that's against snitching.
I don't have nothing wrong with them niggas growing far as, but when you pushing the street shit like 21 Savage was, with your name is automatically exiled from what you're saying. And I just watched him in the interview going back and forth with the what's the dark ball dude? I think he's from the South with the glasses.
I know you're talking about. He had the interview about what snitching was.
But he basically got on that. He basically was trying to clear it up, and dude asked him like, so if this was your homeboy, would he be running with you? And he was adamant about, nah, ain't no snitches in my group ever. Like whoop do a whoop, and then you go out on the deep end and do that. It makes 0 sense. Yeah. And it goes back to the point of the selective politics. Right. Yeah, so it's like them people, and they don't even need to listen to for the most part.
So, once again, I would just go back to what we talked about earlier in the conversation is the why. Like, why are you coming out with this right now? And to me, it goes back to like, the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. So you will be willing to compromise your integrity, what you believe in, to get a bag. At that point, pack them up. You know what I mean? Because like I look at it like this. To me, it's like, if this is your code of conduct and this is what you're standing on, you can't be wishy-washy with it. Stand on that. And if you don't, then you don't have to. But at the end of the day, like I said, to me, it just looks like someone who is just basically compromising who they are or who they profess to be in order to get a bag.
And even the thing about being a rap, because, they do anything to survive. So it's more than just in the streets and things like that. Like we always talk about that. The own police department despise rats in their own in their own union. And even on top of that, if we think about anything that had us in any progress, they always used our own people, and they always used somebody that would sell us out. So for the most part, I have to look at you in the same way because you're justifying that. Would you still be telling him to be his friend if Young Thug got life? Would he still be saying you knew this? Would he still? Would he still
brush that under the rug? Yeah, I know you ain't coming home. You ain't gonna see your wife and kids ever again.
We finna go do songs and everything.
But we trying to get some money though. Give them another feature.
Yeah, so these people can easily control us. They come throw bags or do certain things. Are you looking at it because, or in the sense that you allowed this dude, he's still prospering without all of y'all. Yeah. So now do y'all want to be a part of his wave? Is that what that is? Like y'all careers are not maybe where his is at now. And this nigga that went and did everything that went against the grain that y'all said y'all believed in.
The power of attachment.
Now, exactly. But now you trying to realize, like, well, I don't even need to be on that no more. I actually like the nigga, really. Let me not act like
start finding excuses and shit.
We need to bring the family back together, bro. Like,
so weird
it's all your fault because
mess around, have him in the comments.
Exactly. But
Stop me out.
But on top of that, he's making phone calls. That's just let you know he was talking to him the whole time, making phone calls behind the scenes. You've been cool with it, but to the public, You
Yeah,
made
you putting
niggas
on
believe,
this image.
you made
Yeah.
niggas believe something else, and that's one thing I don't like about a lot of stuff that goes on in that industry.
And he
Yeah.
tweeted about QPC. He said, "I knew you was all bad. I just never talked about it publicly
Wow.
because that would make the city look bad, and you was bringing a lot of the young niggas in, getting in motion and getting the city money. So I knew you was all bad, but I didn't outcast you because we was getting bread." So
Wow.
once again, the power of
Wow.
attachments. We
Wow.
want these chains, we want this money, we want these cars more than sticking to our morals and our principles that we built a career on. We out here telling the youth, hey man, no snitching, do this, do that. And
Yeah.
behind closed doors, oh, we can get a bag. Oh, fucking fuck,
Man.
cuz you told
Right.
on.
Yeah.
Nigga, what
even-
the fuck?
even-
That would make
Even-
you know
but
good too.
even-
Like, you know what I mean?
You hang with a
that's-
snitch, you a snitch to me.
Right.
exactly.
But
I look at that, nigga,
because
yeah.
you're justifying, and you
Yeah.
probably would do the same thing in that situation.
Exactly.
But even on top of that, it's like you didn't have to bring y'all street shit to the internet.
Yeah.
But once we see the separation, you stop seeing people gonna stop asking. They're gonna already understand what's going on.
Yeah.
You see Lil Baby don't really get on the internet and talk about a lot of things, but we don't see him with a lot of people no more.
Yep. Yep.
It's like, nigga, he know how he need to move, in
Yep.
my opinion. So it just goes to say, like we said, and this is why, what you was talking about earlier, why people say the streets are done.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Nigga, your name is 2-1 Savage.
Yeah, it's
Change
like-
your motherfucking name. Change that shit to, I don't know
Yeah,
what the
back
fuck
him
Cuddy
up.
changes.
And it-
That shit over
and
with.
it ain't like he came. I think people would have had more grace for him if he came out and was just like, look, man, this is just bullshit. He forgive him, X, Y, and Z, and this and that. I'm not that person that y'all thought, and left it at that, because it's not. You're cool with a lot of those things. And you're cool with it until you do it to you.
That
That's
part.
what's gonna happen. That's
That
what a lot
part.
of people when we see
He
we
ain't
learn
told
things.
on me.
I mean, you took it right out of my mouth.
Man.
Yeah. So many times.
Oh
It been
my
so many
God, I
times.
hate that shit.
Oh,
He ain't told on me,
That's
or
still my boy. You
I
know,
just ain't gonna do no crimes with him.
Yeah, I just ain't. You don't fuck with him, but he was cool with us though. Like these niggas be crazy, girl. Like goddamn, nigga, that nigga broke the family up, nigga. Yeah. Gave that nigga 100 years, nigga. You talking about you cool with that?
Whoosh, man.
So and it be the solid niggas that get the short end of the stick. The
Yeah.
niggas that's keeping the code, that's
Yeah.
keeping everything. These are niggas that's sitting in them yards and shit like that. So it's a sad case right now where we at in these streets.
Man, that's facts.
Atlanta, man, y'all gotta that Atlanta shit is looking crazy right now, man. Y'all need to get somebody solid in the game because
Man.
it's looking wild
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
Why,
crazy.
and why do y'all think?
Shout out to Atlanta.
Yeah, shout out to the
Yeah,
A. But
man.
why
I
do
know
y'all
they got
think?
real niggas
I
out
want to
there.
get on this. We wasn't talking about it. You know, Wiz Khalifa. Everybody, the world knows he's a big chiefer. He smokes a
Yeah,
lot. He
yeah.
does what he does. And I believe Wiz Khalifa just got sentenced. I'm not sure if he's in jail yet to 9 months for having marijuana. And I believe, was it Romania?
Romania.
Yeah, in Romania. So now Wiz Khalifa, it's like Wiz Khalifa, this gonna be the longest he probably ever went without blowing. He gonna probably have it in there, but it's just like, damn. At what point should the marijuana should be legal everywhere around the world
Yeah,
at this point?
yeah,
Trump
yeah.
just said he's about to change the marijuana laws.
Again?
Yeah, he said he's about to change them again. I just find it crazy that a nigga addiction is that strong that
Yeah.
you in a country where it's zero tolerance. You just watch the basketball dyke chick
Mhm.
damn near
Yeah,
get
Brittany
life,
Griner.
Brittany
Yep,
Griner,
yep, yep,
and
yep.
you gonna go do the same thing. Like at some point, niggas gonna have to stop saying,
Discipline, sacrifice, something, man.
man, weed ain't.
Yeah.
I can quit
can't
when I
give him
want to.
9 months.
I ain't believing
I
that.
can't-
He
I don't-
putting
I
something
don't-
else in that
I
weed.
don't even believe it's that. To me, I don't think it's even an addiction part. I think it's to the point where they think they're above that status to where I can move around like this, but you
Yeah.
can't. I probably done been to other places where they had a
Privilege.
little leverage for me that didn't allow it. You think you getting there? They like, nigga, we don't give a fuck who you is.
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. They putting something else in that weed. It ain't just weed, man.
Nah,
It ain't no
They been
motherfucking way.
spraying and stuff like that. It make me think too. I used to always talk shit to our older homies because they used to smoke stress and shit still. Like this when Kush and Perp hit the
Yeah.
scene. They're like, nigga, I ain't hitting that shit. Nigga had them niggas tweaking.
Yeah.
But now I understand. I'm like, oh, that shit was too strong for them niggas. They want that stress, nigga. We over here getting these niggas too high, nigga. These niggas tripping off that shit. They like, I don't know what the fuck y'all smoking. But now it's like you said, I see that. They putting all these chemicals and shit like that. And I believe all this chemical induced stuff, this weed that they're doing, they're going to start doing these things to make it seem like the weed is affecting people in certain ways when it's really not. If you get the natural weed that's growing from the earth, I believe that's the best thing because people use it because weed heals. You know, weed helps with seizures. It helps with a lot of different things and with a lot of healing, even with people that need to be able to meditate and do
Yeah.
certain stuff. So it's a lot of
So,
benefits
Yeah,
to it.
I think he's gonna
Yeah.
change it to where it's labeled not a drug anymore,
I don't think,
which it never
I
was.
don't
to
think
me.
it's a drug at all. Like I said, I don't drink, I don't smoke. It's been 10
Yeah.
years sobriety for me, but I literally do not think that weed is a drug. Like, I don't think people should be in jail for it or anything like that.
Niggas
You know
was
what I
in
mean?
jail for a plant. That's the craziest shit. Like, shit that grow out the motherfucking
That's
earth.
crazy. It's like, I know for a fact, like, alcohol is worse than weed. Like, I ain't never tripped out off weed. I done tripped out off alcohol. You know what I mean?
That's
They give you medication, football players, you see the CTE and all this stuff, and it's like, this is legal. I can walk around with a bottle of Percocets as long as, I got a prescription for it.
I
you
just
know?
find the timing that he's doing that ironic. They said it's gonna be labeled as the same category as maybe a Tylenol or something like that, like some over-the-counter
Give a
medicine.
nigga a gummy.
Gummy is crazy.
Because you gotta get prescribed it. Yeah.
Because it's Today is Thursday.
Yeah.
I know Friday was the deadline for the Epstein list. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be
Oh,
released,
my
right? Like
goodness.
this was as far
You
back
think
as
it's
they
never
could push it
coming
out.
out?
It's never coming out.
Yeah, it's never.
And you got to
I
look at
don't
a lot
think
of
so.
reasons they were saying he was on it, or a lot of his buddies was on it. Whoever's on it, it's a lot of powerful
Yeah.
people on it. We don't even need to go that deep into it. But I find it ironic that now we're talking about going to war with Venezuela right before this list is supposed
Oh,
to drop.
yeah.
And all of us, hey,
Oh,
by the
yeah.
way,
Yeah,
y'all can get,
distraction.
all of y'all can get weed now. Here you go.
Right.
The fuck, nigga? My uncle did 40 years for it. Y'all niggas crazy.
And then even worse part, the niggas, they'll still keep the niggas locked up even after they make the law.
Yeah, this
Even-
ain't for you. This for the next generation.
You caught your case before this, you don't qualify. Like,
Man,
that shit be wild.
Bro,
Yeah.
man, listen, man. You saying that's like you preaching to my soul right now, man. Because I talk about like the gang enhancement, for instance. Like a lot of these laws are not retroactive. They'll say, okay, we messed up in the past. Your uncle and your dad and all that stuff. They're never getting out, but we're not gonna do you guys like that. So it's
Right.
like,
So if you just come to jail, the enhancements
yeah,
don't
we're not
apply
gonna
to
give
you.
you all these enhancements,
Yeah.
but all the dudes that's in prison with enhancements, they're cooked. You know what I mean? Like, that's not right. Like, if it was wrong then, you need to rectify it. Like, and that's the problem. Even with issues like slavery, they'll come out, oh, that was so in the past, it was wrong. We don't need to make reparations because we're over it. And it's like, no, if you acknowledging that it was wrong, then you need to rectify it. It's not too late to rectify it.
The reparations conversation is always mind-boggling to me, and how people go against it because they paid the owners of slaves for losing slaves.
Yeah.
They paid them, gave them money, gave them land, and they didn't pay the slaves.
It was
Like
a
that
big-
shit is crazy to
Yeah,
me.
and it was a bigger plan because they was gonna find a better way to enslave us. They like, man, these niggas is rebelling. We can't keep doing it this way. Let's find another way.
Give them
And
the
then-
illusion.
Yeah, then you got all of the Willie Lynches
Yeah,
and stuff
Willie
like
Lynch,
that,
that-
and the Jim Crows, and you
You know.
get into that type of stuff. It's like, nigga, they done took over nigga minds in a
Yeah.
mass level.
Where Willie
Like,
Lynch family at?
I don't
Because
know.
I see he got some relatives still out here. We need to go. I need to go visit them niggas, man.
It's crazy. It's all that shit is crazy to me. And I just think about, like I said, I don't know when I was telling you about that movie, the Sarah's Oil, where about the little girl. She had the land of oil. Somebody left it to her. They kept trying to come take it from her. She stood up for it. Basically, and I think the Rockefellers ended up coming to buy her out, like 133 million. But it's like, man, she would have had so much money, whether if she was sharp enough to stay down. Even her parents and stuff didn't convince her. But when you watch it, the movie is kind of slow, but it's interesting as you get more into it because it's based on a true story. So I was just like, man, but that goes with everything we get. This is why we don't have nothing. We don't own nothing. Even though when we had things, it's always a force that's coming to get that from us. Like, they cannot look like they're finna get no type of way up.
But
yeah,
give,
and so for me, just going back to the reparation issue, and me and the bro, we also had a conversation about this. When they say history repeats itself, it's not always in the negative context. Sometimes we need to look back in history in a good context. And when I think about somebody like Martin Luther King, who was murdered because he wasn't assassinated because he was preaching for civil rights and the right to vote and sitting in integrated restaurants. No, he was murdered. His last speech that he gave, he literally was talking about reparation. There's no point of me being able to come into your restaurant if I can't buy anything on the menu. And we're not coming with a handout and asking or begging you for anything. We're talking about what we earn. There's nothing in this country that was built that didn't have the hands of black men and women on it. You see what I mean? And it's been sustained through the same kind of racism. It just looked like it just evolved from different races. Okay, well, we can't have slavery anymore, so now we're going to get, Asians to come here, or we're going to get Hispanics to come here to sustain what the blacks already laid that foundation. And so we talk about reparation. You talk about the dream for the average black person is what? generational wealth. I got to get into stocks and bonds. I got to get into real estate because I want to leave something for generations to come. Well, okay, well, what about our ancestors, right? Where was the generational wealth that they established? You took that from them. And we need to demand to get that back. So, like I said, it's not coming with a handout. It's what we've already earned.
And what
our
do
ancestors earned.
So
that.
what do you think it'll take to demand any of that back? Because like we say, you know, what is it? The Indians and stuff, they get checks every month. Everybody else still getting their bread.
Man, I tell you, man, that's why when I seen Kendrick, shout out to K-Dot again, man. And like I said, man, to me, he is the culture. But it's always been music. Like, that's what always spoke to me. Like Tupac, Nas, Scarface, you know, those are like my top 3. But it was always like a message. And when Pac says on Me Against the World, the power is in the people and politics we address. Listen to the music. And when they're gone, their voices are magnified. And when I go back to 2042 being the year that America's going to be a minority majority, if you have the minority now thinking about reparations and reimagining these systems, 17 years down the line, we'll actually be in a position of power where we can actually bring about the change we want to see. But the footwork starts now.
Definitely. Most definitely. I really don't push too hard on really talking about reparations. I think we got to get on one accord before we ever even have a shot at getting anything like that, because I always say the way they took it is the way you got to get it back. If a school bully snatched your lunch out your hand, punched you in the face, pushed you down, and you come, hey, man, you did me wrong. Can I please have my lunch back? You're not getting that shit back.
But the question is, how did they get it in the first place?
He's saying
that's what I'm saying. If you're not,
so did they?
That's
did
blood
they get
on that
by
money.
Did they get it by force or did they get it by politics?
I think it
the
was
politics is backed by force. The only reason
Exactly.
the politics matter is because they got the stronghold on violence. What happens? Okay, we want to go out in the street. Let's say we want to vote. And let's say we know they rigged the votes. I mean, what's ultimately stopping us from overtaking them? Well, they got the military, they got the police, they got the guns. That's the only thing that keep everything in order is the violence. Behind the money, behind the votes, none of that matters is the violence. Look at Venezuela right now. They're telling us it's drugs, but they just swarmed an oil tanker right off the motherfucking coast over there, took that over, and then you had Trump come on TV and said, well, I know about that deal, but that's our oil and we need it back.
We need more spooks who sat by the door.
But the question is that violence going to be effective without structure?
Absolutely not. That's why I said we got to get us together. That's why I was saying.
Backyard in order.
Because we could go out there and just be like, let's get cracking and get slaughtered. Because we ain't got no game plan.
Even if because they know we've seen time and time again in history, once they started noticing us gaining traction with our people, they like, nigga, we have to stop everything else. This is the problem. Everything else is minor right now. No matter how big it was, once we started, when the Panthers and stuff started coming, what did the CIA, everything else do? Nigga, Operation shut this shit down. That's before anything. Like, nigga, that's real shit.
And YouTube,
people don't know.
YouTube,
tap into
facts.
to the YouTube checkers, I'm not advocating for violence. I'm just speaking on
either.
patterns
It's
that I
all
know
about peace.
that I noticed.
Nah, facts.
Because listen, even let's look at who's the 3 richest people in the world. Who would y'all say?
Who? Elon.
Definitely Elon Musk
Bezos,
for sure. Yeah.
And who was the third?
Okay, when they move around, you think they move around without security?
Oh, nigga, we know they ain't moving around without security.
Right. So even with the money, that means nothing without the violence to protect it and to back it. So to me, ultimately, everything else is an illusion without the threat of violence. This is why they can go over to Africa and just have the Asians buying up the land and treating the Africans like shit because they really ain't got no military that's formidable to these other militaries.
And then, but their biggest form is that they make the money and control the money. Like we see all the statistics. These are just numbers that they throw out. But then when we see people like the Bill Gateses and stuff like that that's going to Africa and want to test chips and kids and shit like that, they're not doing that to no white kids. They going where our resources and everything else is at and doing these things. And they know, like I say, they plan 10, 20, 30 years ahead. We barely thinking through 24 hours a day. Our people ain't looking 10 years what place we can be. So I think that's the biggest thing. Like, he go back to what you were saying earlier, the consciousness, like waking up the minds, but it's hard to wake up the mind. I think most people wake up on their own time. So it's like the like-minded people just got to come together and start really structuring things behind the scenes and start putting plans together. And I think that will start to push the needle when they see more people, like you said, moving together. Damn, what the fuck is these niggas on? Like, and that's how, and I believe that's how even with the Panthers, how a lot of people want to start being a part of that. You seeing them pushing the line in the streets or certain ways, protecting people, looking out for the kids. It started making, damn, I want to be a part of that. These my people doing that.
You think materialism is a part of the downfall? Because you bring up the Panthers, both of y'all did, and I think about the Panthers. The Panthers never really preached materialism. They preached getting systems in order, get hospitals, let's get our own banks, let's get businesses, let's get things to build generational wealth. But they wasn't out there worrying about Gucci, Fendi, Louis, Rolexes and shit. But I'm saying is,
you said where we at now.
they couldn't be bought out. Where someone like
right.
2-1 Savage is saying, well, let's overlook the rat for some money. And let's be real, the greatest threat to any revolution is a rat. That's how they got the Panthers out, was a rat. So if you can be bought and controlled by these material items, how strong is your revolution?
And so for me, you know, it's not lost on me that today makes 24 years that Stillmatic actually came out, which was like I said, Nas, that's my second favorite rapper.
Years, nigga,
today. Yeah. Today.
God damn.
Yeah, and so, you know, I think about, you know, the message in his lyrics, and he talks about like Poison, the song Poison. He's like, you know, they made us hate ourselves. You know what I mean? And so it's like we think about people that have material things and the people that don't have those material things. If I come from poverty and I don't have the chain or the Rolex, and you come into my neighborhood with that, I'm gonna take that, right? And not only am I looking at the wealth, I'm looking at the person. This is how I turn to hate you. So it goes all the way back full circle, synchronicity to the beginning of our conversation. Like what made us hate each other is the same system that was designed to make us hate ourselves first. So when we look at material things, don't talk to me about material things. Talk to me about real estate. Talk to me about stocks and bonds and stuff like that.
But then, no, my bad. Go ahead.
No.
But like you said, a big key point was it was possibly a little bit of the money, because even in those stories with the Panthers, you had the dudes that was selling the crack or doing certain things that didn't care about poisoning the community, and they like, well, we can feed you long as you do what you need to do for us, type shit. And I think that was the biggest thing, like you said. But then to imagine how young Huey P and those dudes was, they was thinkers that we needed, that was thinking ahead of time. You know what I'm saying? Your kids ain't got nowhere to go. We gonna help you. We got, like you said, we got daycare centers. We got food for y'all. Ain't nobody really hungry. And the material things wasn't a real problem. I think that is a big problem, because
self-sustainable.
it's more stunting on you than stunting with you. And when they didn't care about that, it was like, exactly. It was more so self-preservation, power to the people. We are the people. We the same. So we gonna help each other.
But like they was preaching, build our own system. We're headed to a future where everybody got to rely on the system. I think right now there's more unemployed people in the U.S. than there's jobs available.
Yeah, I seen that.
So there's more people without a job than jobs available. Yeah. Then you got the richest man on the planet telling people, "Oh, don't save, because pretty soon we're gonna give you all, you know, this what they call
don't save the allowance. Yeah, don't save is crazy,
bro. I swear to God, the nigga just said don't save because we finna give y'all a hefty allowance." The nigga that's hoarding wealth telling you don't save.
Because he telling you don't save, because he want all the money.
I know it's
if I got all the money, I control everything.
All money in.
Universal universal income. That's what they say. Universal income.
That's deep.
Yeah, bro. Like, I just think anybody that's self-sustainable or preaching to be self-sustainable, them is the ones they usually target.
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
Yeah, anything against their system, anything against the Matrix, they coming to get you. You fucking up our program, nigga. Send the agents his way. So it's like,
for sure.
Yeah, now that's crazy work.
Yeah.
So do y'all think we need a leader, or do you think we need to build a system?
I believe, once again, it's about collective conscious. Like, we don't need a system. I believe that we're all equipped to be leaders. But more importantly, it's going to come from collective conscious. And what I mean by that is, like, it's certain people that you can reach that I could never reach. It's certain people that I could reach that you could never reach. And that's okay, as long as me and you are on the same page. You see what I mean? And so now we have generations that are learning the teachings that we have. And this is why I said history repeat itself is not a bad thing. We need to go back and promote. And this is why, going back to Eldridge Cleaver, whenever somebody does something that you don't agree with, you automatically smut him up. Oh, he went and did this and all this and that. So you'll just let that sit on the shelf and not read his ideology, what he was bringing forth. That's powerful. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, at the end of the day, it's not about, you know, the person. Even when I go back to Fred Hampton, you know, and he was talking about people was falling in love with him, or you're the Black Messiah. And he's saying, like, it's not just about me. It's the collective.
It's about us, exactly.
And so, and like I said, and also for me, like, as a leader, I always say, if I'm not equipping you to be a leader, then I'm not qualified to be a leader myself.
Right. And I always say readers are leaders, and I think we need more. It's just that we need more independent thinkers. We need more people to free their minds in a sense, even though how cliche that might sound. But a lot of us need to be more independent thinkers. Of course, you're gonna have more people that's more vocal that maybe might get messages off across more, but we need more people to stand with those people because time and time again, we've watched our leaders get knocked off.
Yeah.
And if we have more people that was equivalent or could move the way they did, it wouldn't be the messages still go on.
It's
You
sustainable.
know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Absolutely.
the direction, the goals and things will still be pushing the motion. It wouldn't just be stagnant. Now we waiting for the next Malcolm. Now we waiting for the next Pac or the next Nipsey. And when those people are speaking out, we can't always be so quick to dim them and label them crazy.
Yeah.
Because you don't understand it. Try to understand it.
To me, it got to be repercussions to our people getting knocked off, though. Just think about how many lives would saved if it was some severe repercussions when things like that happen. I mean, you got them coming out saying, yeah, we did it, but here go a holiday. Yeah, we did it, but here go a street. Like, it's almost like clowning at this point. But backtracking to you saying Nas was your favorite rapper.
Second
I don't know how
favorite
let this.
rapper.
Oh,
Pac.
my bad. Okay.
Nas
Second
number
favorite
two,
rapper.
for sure.
What you think about Nas' new album that he just dropped with DJ Premier?
So I actually had a chance to watch, the last podcast, man, and I'm definitely in agreement, man. The beat selection, it was horrible. I love DJ Premier as well too, man. Like I said, Mass Appeal is probably like top 10 rap song for me all time. Like, so he's a great producer. But that album, like you guys said, I agree, man. Like the beat selection, it was horrible, man. And especially being a West Coast guy, a lot of times it is about the beat. Like if I can't,
It's not even. It's not.
Exactly. Need that bop.
It's a little bit of the bop. It's a little bit of the bop, but I don't always expect a bop from Nas. But I need you to ride the beat a certain way.
Yeah.
So I need him to
Pause.
Yeah, I hear you.
That was crazy. God damn.
He couldn't wait to do that. I knew he was gonna say that.
It's crazy.
That was right. The beat is crazy.
But whatever the case is,
We need a timeout.
I need his cadence on the beat a certain way. What I did like is he got back into that, and then he got into the because you was talking about Stillmatic, and made me think about the second childhood.
Oh, man.
And he came out with the third childhood.
That's my favorite collaboration.
He came out with the
Premier.
third. He came out with the third childhood. I'm like, oh, Nas still he's in his bag, but I was just like, damn, I had a feeling he was gonna do that with the beats. But for the most part, I liked it. I think maybe the first few, then like maybe towards the end, like I liked the majority of the songs.
I like Sons too, man. Like,
Sons was hard. He said he had a song called Daughters, but M wasn't trying to get on it.
And I like AZ. I wish you would have had him on more tracks because a lot of tracks that in the past that him and AZ has done has been cold tracks to me.
Yeah.
Definitely shout out to AZ.
But the one album I wish that they would have came with is Scarface and Nas, man. I just thought like, because that chemistry right there, man, the in between us, man, on Scarface on the Fix, that's one of like my favorite songs of all time, man. And I would have loved to see them collaborate.
Yeah, I think he should have had him on a feature. Damn, Scarface, he go untalked about a lot. Man, Scarface a legend too.
That's number 3. Like
Scarface
I said,
is underrated.
Scarface number 3 is crazy.
Yeah, that's number 3 in my book. My favorite rappers. In fact, he was my first favorite rapper before Pac and Nas. Like it was Face.
You got Face over Jay?
I got Face over Jay. He number 3. Like I said, my top 5 in order is Pac, Nas, Face, Biggie, and Kendrick. That's my top 5.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
But you basing your top
You got
5.
Biggie over? Damn.
I got Biggie.
Biggie is a lot of people's favorite though.
He not my favorite. I think Nas surpassed him just based on the longevity. But like I said, I cannot deny when Biggie first came out, his first 2 albums at that time. When we talk about East Coast, West Coast, Pac and Biggie was still getting played in my ride. You know what I mean? So I can't.
It sounds like to me, it for you is based off the substance and how you connect with them because that's what I get from, like you said, with Pac. I think he connected more to the people in a sense. Scarface was good with his storytelling and a lot of stuff in his songs that the life he lived was more relatable to me. Biggie rapped about a lot of real shit. He connected with the people, but I just think he didn't get a chance to do enough work.
So I don't. Is he in y'all top 5?
Who?
Is Biggie in your top 5?
Biggie?
No, I'm saying, is it because he died, or is it because he's really in your top 5?
Man, that dude, listen, man.
It depends, because like I know what you're saying.
bro,
Like,
Because I think a lot of people just he died,
hold up,
and the world said
time out,
he was the face of New York.
One song to me solidified his standing on my Mount Rushmore, kicking the door. When he said, ain't no other kings in this rap things, they siblings, nothing but my children. One shot, they disappear. And he went at all of them. Nas, Raekwon, all them dudes. He was dissing the Locks on his own song. I'm like, I cannot take nothing from Biggie, bro. Like, period. Like, if he didn't do anything else, that set the standard, bro. Everybody was trying to chase him as far as on the East Coast, bro. Like I said, I think Nas surpassed him based on his longevity, but the bar was set so high, bro. With his 2 albums, that's back-to-back classics. And so that is enough footwork to me, because it's some of other people's favorite rappers ain't got 1 classic. You know what I mean? And he got 2 right off the bat.
So how many classics would you say Nas got?
So I would say material album-wise, I give Nas about 3.5, but then he also had the King Disease too. I like
A lot of people mention
that
King
series
Disease.
too. But to me, like I said, Illmatic, you know, that's definitely is in the discussion of the greatest rap album of all time. It's top 3. It is written, right? That's another classic. Some people are on the fence, but I happen to believe it was a classic, and it's Stillmatic.
Illmatic for sure.
So, like I said, so in my opinion, that's 3 classics. And then even on his other albums that probably didn't meet the standard of the bar he set, there's still songs on there that have so much substance and he just gassed, bro. Like, I mean, but you come out right off the bat at 16 years old with Illmatic, and then you come with the Stillmatic. I'm like, that solidified it for me, bro.
I don't know, because Jay done so much to still have Big over Jay is kind of crazy.
So
even though I know Jay-Z bought a lot of his lines, but we gotta really, bro, he only put out 2 albums.
So for me, once again, man, even like with Jay-Z, like Reasonable Doubt, to me, that's another album that could be in the discussion of the best rap album of all time. So I gotta give him that. Blueprint was also a classic. But both of those albums that when he put out, they were overshined. Nobody wanted to hear Reasonable Doubt. It doesn't measure up to All Eyes on Me. It doesn't measure up to Machiavelli or Life After Death. So at the same time when Jay-Z came out with that, you fast forward to Blueprint. When Nas came out with Stillmatic, nobody was talking about Blueprint anymore. Everybody was talking about Ether.
Does that take away the greatness of it though?
I mean, but when you compare it to the greatness of other people, absolutely it takes away from your greatness.
Well, comparison is the killer of all joy. So because I didn't even know about Reasonable Doubt at all when I was a kid. But then looking back as an adult, that's one of the best, greatest debut albums of all time. I still play it every single time I go on vacation. It's just a vibe.
And then also another thing that, like, to me, another knock on Jay-Z is like, he put out a lot of albums that really didn't have substance. Like, to me, Volume 1, I don't get it. I think the album was trash. Like, for me personally. Volume 2 was like a borderline classic, you know. Volume 3 is another one, to me, was trash. So in that, when he talked about Nas and you putting out one hot album every 10-year class, I could say the same thing about Jay-Z.
You know what? You low-key got a point, because up until the Blueprint, them albums wasn't really hitting.
Blueprint, that's another classic. Like I said, I can't take nothing from him. But when Nas came out with Ether, it was over. So it doesn't.
Nah, Blueprint still got played though.
But then you got the Blueprint, you got the Blueprint 2, then you got the Black album.
Black album was cool. That was solid. Then he came
American
out with Kingdom
Gangster.
Come. Did you mess with Kingdom Come?
Kingdom Come was trash. That shit was garbage. That's when he was going at Wayne, and Wayne was in his head. Wayne was living rent free in his head.
So, you know, and then also like me being like a real hip hop head, I love Benny Siegel, bro. That's another dude. I don't think that he got his
didn't get
credit,
to reach his fullest potential.
He didn't get his credit, man. But he was gassing, bro. Like the truth, man, he was a problem, bro. He was a problem.
Even a lot of them verses, Beans, a lot of songs, he had a lot of the hardest verses.
Well, Dame said Jay was holding him back because he saw Beans being greater than him eventually.
That's basically what I'm saying. Yeah, they were saying that.
So, you know, like, there's a lot of knocks that I could say about Jay-Z. But like I said, I don't take nothing from him. I mean, he's one of the legends. He's all-time great. But I don't think him and Nas are in the same realm as far as like music.
What do y'all think made Biggie that great? Like you said, is it just his lyrical ability? Because then you go to the point where he said a lot of crazy things. And then
he said a lot of false words and shit.
Some of his lyrics didn't age well.
And then a lot of exactly. A lot of his lyrics didn't age well. And then a lot of he told good storytelling, but was this based off truth?
So
Do y'all think a lot of Biggie raps was based off of truth? Because Cuz said a lot of crazy shit.
I don't know, man. I did
And-
watch the Diddy documentary. You know what I mean? So it make you
Diddy
kinda,
Doc was crazy.
It was
Bro,
crazy.
they had the trans
Yeah.
in this video.
In the video back
sitting on
then.
niggas like
And it's a lot of people that have had that same person in their
I'm
videos.
just-
You
I'm
didn't even
just
know.
saying.
Oh man.
And I went down that rabbit hole of the I think he was Jamaican or something like that, where they
Yeah.
saying he got his whole identity from. Did you see that?
Oh,
I
the
think
dude,
dude name was-
the original song.
Yeah.
I've been.
They took his
I
song
remember
and
that.
everything.
Yeah.
So I'm
But I
now
don't
I'm
even
looking at it
necessarily think
crazy.
that was Biggie's fault. I think that
You
was
think that was
Diddy.
the diddler?
Yeah, because he was doing that. Because you got to think about it. The nigga went and stole the whole "I Get Around" video.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then went and
yeah,
did that with
yeah,
Biggie.
yeah,
But he didn't put the girls around Biggie like that. He took the bottle of champagne, got around the females, and thought he was pop. I'm like, damn, this nigga's a cold nigga. Cause he was
man.
infatuated with Pac, but hated him.
Hey,
Like-
niggas low key owe the West Coast and Death Row an apology. They
Yeah,
thought Death
yeah,
Row was being the
yeah,
bullies
yeah,
whole time. Diddy was starting
Yeah.
No,
shit.
niggas owe Pac
And
an
niggas was just
apology.
on defense.
Yeah.
Besides the West Coast, niggas owe Pac an apology.
Yeah, like I
All
said-
the niggas that hated Pac from other places and shit
Yeah.
like that, because Pac was telling the truth the whole motherfucking
whole
time.
time.
But the only thing is, too, what's crazy, depending on how that documentary went, Biggie wasn't lying either.
Yep.
That's what.
Ah,
That's
'cause he
what-
didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
No.
he really wasn't
Yeah.
lying. Like he said, because you see in there, he like, man, I'm just ignored. Like, I don't even really want them
Yeah.
problems. He knew what Pac was really doing for
Yeah.
him, but the only difference was Pac seen it like, nigga, yo, camp, y'all was too excited to get me up there. Y'all was
So-
pressing me. So of course, you get shot, you gonna be clouded and look at it like that.
You know, and then that's another thing. Like, you know, cause I've studied, you know, like I said, I'm a real like hip hop historian. I remember I seen an interview like with Little C's, and he was talking like about. He said, man, they worship Pac. He said like how we are on the West Coast with Menace to Society and the old dog character. He was like, man, Pac, that's Bishop. That's Juice. You know what I mean? So when they saw him, so it's like they didn't really have that hostility in their heart or the hatred in their heart towards Pac.
Lil C's looked like he was telling the truth to me in that interview. You was saying his story never changed even after all these years. So they probably really didn't know, and they could have been backdoored by the nigga that was
The
running
diddler.
you. Yeah,
The diddler out
exactly.
here. So,
Yeah.
what y'all think about that doc though? Do y'all think it's really credible? Because we know 50 got some type of feelings for Diddy for a while, and a lot of the people in the documentary have reasons to have feelings about him. So, do you think you can get truth or
I think
you know what I'm saying, from somebody who has a mission out to destroy you?
This is the thing, though. People wouldn't have the same opinion if 50 Cent would have never attached his name to it.
Yeah.
They would have
Yeah.
accepted it for what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
For 150
Yeah.
for sure is not the nigga putting all this just
Yeah.
together. It's a whole team of people that's probably was already putting this together, and he found a way in that door to correspond with that. I don't think he necessarily even put it together. I think he just put his name on it and
Yeah.
allowed that to be more bigger on the platform. Look how
Yeah.
many documentary that came out of Diddy while he was in trial and everything else that been running on Netflix.
Man.
And nobody had nothing to say about it
Yeah.
until 50 did it.
Yeah.
And then majority of the stuff is him, himself.
Yeah.
Like, it ain't like 50 on there. It ain't like the nigga on there narrating.
Yeah.
He ain't said one word in there. Then you got 1,000 people that's what he paid all them to say this shit. They motherfuckers on there crying. They got receipts. They got all
receipts.
They got
receipts.
video,
It's crazy.
nigga. It's like that. It's mind-boggling to me because
Yeah.
people just
Yeah,
if
you
you want to
can't hate on 50, man.
if
That dude's
you
a
can
genius,
stay
bro.
clear, not be biased, but if you want to
Yeah.
defend him, that's all people want to do.
Yeah.
You can hate on him,
Yeah.
be mad. He just
But
had
what it is-
he just had the upper hand.
But
That's
see
all it was.
what it is
That shit
is that
crazy.
in the eyes of like culture in the entertainment business, they hate 50 Cent. Like he's just the villain, right? So whatever he does, they're gonna hate on him but for me, I respect him because one thing. When I hear people's stories, I want to know the origin. Like, where did you come from? How was it for you? What did you have to do to get into the door? And what he had to go through to get into the door, all the accolades and accomplishments he got, he earned that.
One of the rawest niggas.
Yeah, he earned that. And so people, they don't like that. They just hate him because look how he came into the industry.
Because
you know?
he not really.
But he's very sharp.
He's what a lot of them industry niggas want to be.
Yeah.
He's not. He's really a street
Shout
nigga.
out to 50.
He's
hey,
a
man.
real.
yeah,
He's a street nigga.
I'm messing with 50, bro.
He's a
for
street
sure.
nigga that turned learned industry. So of course you're not gonna you niggas don't cope with y'all don't get it. Y'all are not like me in a sense.
And I also believe that he actually has integrity too. You know what I mean? Because it's like I don't think he would be putting out this documentary if this stuff wasn't factual. And a lot of the stuff that was in the documentary was right before our eyes that a lot of people just didn't even pay attention to.
Because they wasn't going this hard. 50 been telling people about Diddy since I don't know how long. Yeah. And ain't nobody had this much smoke until this stuff came out. Yeah. And I think the real root of the problem is...
You think the Diddy files is coming out?
No. You know what I believe the real problem is? They hate that 50 do what he want and he keep winning. Yeah. He keep coming on top. He didn't beef with everybody. Yeah. He keep coming out on top and they haven't been able, outside of the allegations they got of him, which was damn near already been discredited. They don't really have nothing on him yet. Yeah. They trying their hardest. You see Ja Rule coming out.
Yeah, Ja, you gotta let that go. Ja, you gotta let that shit go.
Niggas ain't mad about it. You keep jumping out the window for nothing.
You know, it's like at this point, isn't Ja Rule like Drake? You know, them was just two people. They just need to disappear. Just don't say anything. You
Bro, the crazy Ja, you seen the nigga. You seen him in person right there. It ain't do shit. So at that point, you gotta let that go. It ain't. You ain't got no win.
Let it go, man.
You ain't got no win.
I could have been just smart like, damn, that nigga won and left it alone. Yep. You could have let him have it.
It just kept making hits.
Exactly,
You want to be a thug,
that nigga made a good record, nigga. You could have, if Jay could have came back from Ether, you could have came back from Back Down. You supposed to stay for emotion. You fell into his psych, his trap because he knew what you was, and you fell into that.
50 low-key got niggas spooked because I never seen Mano react to somebody calling him out the way he reacted to 50. He low-key turning it down, trying to make jokes out of it. Usually Mano talking about smacking niggas and Brooklyn this and Brooklyn that.
But it's because you gotta have this energy when you see him, and they know behind the scenes how he moving. They know what he coming from. So you have to have that same energy dealing with that nigga, or it's just it's a lose for you. Yeah, for sure. Or a loss, I should say. But I don't know, man. Shout out to 50s. It is what it is, man.
He just made Jim Jones pay his his studio.
He put the audio out and everything. I'm like, this nigga's a menace for sure.
He cold.
Hey, he made them pay the studio fees. I said, God damn.
When you see Cameron reacting and laughing and shit, you know it's like, cause you know both them niggas is petty as hell.
Yeah,
so
you see Marlon Brothers told him, leave him alone, nigga. You need to go beef with Kevin Hart or somebody. Right. No, stop beefing with niggas who got shot 9 times.
They gonna beef with Soulja Boy. Nigga, stick to them niggas. Nigga, this shit ain't a game, nigga. This ain't even nothing funny.
They like, we can't even back you with this shit, nigga. Leave that shit alone.
Why you gonna pick a nigga that just ride 9 shots and can whoop your ass?
Fuck wrong with this nigga?
He was trying, but then you see how Marlon tried to break it down. You know, it's just comedian shit. We just having fun in the media. Knock it off, nigga. You thought you was jumping out the window. They told your big brother said, pipe down. That's all that was. I'm just like, damn.
Don't get Chris Rock, Will Smith, nigga.
Yeah, man. That shit is wild. But man, it's crazy watching that shit and it all unfolding this way. It's just like, yeah. Because it's like, I don't know. What can he make that up? Is it because, he's an enemy? Do y'all call all these other people that have been doing documentaries on Diddy the enemy? Are y'all mad at that? Like, y'all should be mad at these other people, because they saying, a black man tearing out another black man. Yeah. But then they wasn't saying that when he was getting blackballed or people wasn't fucking with him then. So it's like, we have to be straightforward when it comes to certain things, what we allow or what we mad at people about in a sense.
Yeah. Like, are y'all cool with a white man tearing down a black man?
That's what I'm saying.
Would it be better if a white man made the doc? All right, NBC made it. Fuck it. Let's watch it.
Yeah, exactly. It's on Netflix. It was already on Netflix. But what I'm saying, and they was tearing his ass up before he even got convicted. Y'all didn't have no problem with that. Oh my God. Man, that's a pause for sure.
God damn. Whoa. Tearing his ass up is crazy.
God damn.
Hey, no more Diddy talk. No more Diddy talk. God damn. Come and talk about the diddler too much.
That's crazy.
He in his diddler bag right now. This nigga wild.
Pause again.
God damn.
That for sure go viral right there.
Oh, man. They gonna kill a nigga for that. That was right. They for sure gonna go crazy for that.
I didn't even catch that one. That was crazy.
Yeah,
that was nasty work.
Nah, that was crazy.
Yeah, you need to go take a water break, cuz. This nigga wild.
So now y'all believe it then. That just let y'all know that where y'all minds at. God
Oh
damn.
man.
Hey, so you being a hip hop historian.
Yeah.
To me, West Coast rap right now is nasty.
Yeah.
It's in the pits.
Yeah.
Game just dropped the album. He just dropped hints at dissing Kendrick. The whole
need to
nine,
stop
the
it,
whole
man.
rollout.
He
He
need
went
to
to the
stop it.
streamers, everybody. And it seems like the album came and went, the hype came and went. Nobody really talking about it. So I'm looking for the up-and-coming West Coast artists, and I can't name 3.
Man, sad.
So what
Yeah.
you think about the West Coast scene and what it's going to take to get the West back up there in the ranks as far as the rap go? Outside of Kendrick, because we all know
Yeah,
Kendrick,
yeah,
he's the
Yeah.
pinnacle
yeah.
right now.
Yeah, so for me, man, I'm telling you, man, I'm a big Kendrick fan. Like I said, he's definitely in my top 5. And the way that he moves, I think other people need to like emulate that, because back then, you had a culture where everybody messed with each other on the West Coast. Like I love the whole Death Row era, Snoop, Corrupt, Warren G, all them dudes, they all mess with each other. And it was like, if you win, we all win. You're going to take us with you. You know what I mean? And it will have an opportunity to shine as well, too. So, like, seeing Game, I seen him talking about he better than Ice Cube and all this other stuff, and now you dissing Kendrick, and I'm like, man, stop it, bro.
Is there something really wrong for him saying he better than Cube?
Bro, listen, man. Listen, man. It's definitely something wrong with him saying
Why?
he's better than Cube.
In a sport, you should feel like you're better than everybody, right?
No, because watch this. Kobe Bryant, to me, second best player of all time. I'm a big Kobe fan. I'm even wearing my Kobe's right now. But the one thing he would never say he was better than Michael Jordan. He would never say that.
They said Kobe got to a point. They said, y'all know that's why he even wore 24, because he surpassed
But you would
Jordan.
never hear that come out of his mouth. His teammates might say that, but you would never hear him verbally say he was better than anybody else. Michael Jordan never even said he was better than Dr. J. He was like, I came in the league looking up to Dr. J. And even in an interview, I would never say I was better than Dr. J. So if you come and you say you worship these dudes or
Pause. That was
idolize them
crazy.
dudes, and then now all of a sudden you say you better than them, that's kind of crazy.
You probably gonna pause him, nigga. Pause. You gonna pause him?
That was crazy. That was crazy. That was crazy.
God damn. This nigga talking about come. Yeah. Pause, nigga. This nigga gonna pause.
God. Flag on the play. God damn.
on the play.
Wow. So y'all should have never had that Diddy combo.
Nah, don't blame me.
You back in that Diddy bag.
God damn.
Oh, man.
I don't see nothing wrong with nobody thinking they the best, because we don't have no problems when Eminem say he the best, or certain rappers say they the best.
Has Eminem ever said he was the best?
Jay-Z has said he's the best. Lil Wayne has said he's the best. No, none of them caught that flack for that.
Yeah, but
You think it's just because it's game?
Yes,
but
exactly what it is.
No, it's because he's not better than Ice Cube. Like, and so for me, I look at it like I don't have to tear you down to display my greatness, bro. If I'm really that person I say I am, I could just move in silence. Like, I don't have to say I'm better than you. You never hear Nas say I'm better than Big, I'm better than Pac, or none of that stuff. Like, he's gonna pay respect to KRS-One or Cool G Rap and things like that, right? And so there has to be a certain level within the culture. I understand it's competitive within its nature, but I don't have to bash anybody, especially someone who came before me that I actually looked up.
Did he bash him
actually
though, or
looked up
did
to.
Shannon Sharp say, "Oh, even Ice Cube"? He was like, "No." Didn't he say like no
But
disrespect?
you got to be smarter than that. You got to be able to see past that, man, and just give respect when it's due. Like I said,
But he said he looked up to them. That's what gave him the NWA stuff and all that. So I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's competitive, and I think it's perspective, because what makes Q better than Game?
I mean, just
Nostalgia?
the influence within the culture, the worldwide respect. At the time, like I said, when West Coast rap was like non-existent, you had the NWA days, and then of course we know how that played out. And when he left and he had to go to the East Coast with the Bomb Squad, and then he came out better than before. And so it's like when you look at the substance, and he also has multiple classic albums under his belt. How many classics does the Game have? One that was really basically 50 Cent and Dr. Dre. So how many classics does he actually have?
Well, Doctor's Advocate might be a classic too.
But when we look at Ice Cube, nobody's gonna say America's Most Wanted wasn't a classic, because it was. Death Certificate, which was actually my first rap album I ever received, right, which was a classic. West Coast, a West Side Connection, the Bow Down album, classic. So it's like
With Cube have done the same things. Like, I say this for over time. This ain't even a bash Cube. Like, for one, I thought he was from Compton a long time. him getting with Easy, and you getting a lot of that street cred from that sense. And then on top of that, you said the West Coast connection. You got the Dub C, you got Mac 10. It's like
classic album though.
Yeah, but Game got a lot of good music though. To me, in my opinion. Like I said,
you have, the documentary, I won't take nothing from, that's a classic, right? But we still also have to remember the time in that context of him riding on the G-Unit coattail. Let's just keep it real. You know what I mean? So it was just such a wave at that time. You was in a situation where you had no choice but to be successful. Oh. And so, but like now, when you get to a certain platform and now you're bashing people, I don't respect that. Because for me, you'll never hear me say anything negative about anybody, right? Especially someone that I once upon a time looked up to or held in high regards. I'm going to give them their flowers. I'm going to say it's just a different generation now, but I would never say I'm better than that person.
So is it wrong when Steph Curry says I'm the greatest shooter of all time?
I mean, that's his belief. And there's a difference between saying I'm the best shooter and I'm the best player, because you're going to be able to know, like, okay, I do something that you can't do, but you do some things that I can't do. So I'm not going to take away from your greatness in order to exalt myself. I think I have a problem with that. I don't agree with that.
And that's what I mean. Do you think Ice Cube has better metaphors and bars than Game does? Like rapping lyrical ability, I don't think Cube can do a 300 bars and running and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, so like I said, it's just a difference of opinion, because me personally, like I said, Ice Cube got 3 classic albums, right? And like I said, and when he first came out, he was considered a lyricist. If you go back and listen to Death Certificate right now, man, like literally just for that alone, which is another album in the conversation of the greatest rap albums of all time, he literally narrated what Los Angeles looked like at that time.
Right,
on a global scale. And so I just have nothing but the utmost respect in regards for him, not just as a rapper, lyricist, but just as a black man in general. And I'm tired. We don't have to be putting each other down. Like, I don't have to say I'm better than you to try to overcompensate, and not to say anything bad about Game, but to me, it still gives off like insecurities in a sense, because if I'm confident and secure in who I am as a person, I don't have to put you down as a person.
Ice Cube is definitely a legend. I don't necessarily agree that Game necessarily put him down. I just think Game catch a lot of flack because he's Game. And people just look at him like, man, you're goofy, man. What you comparing yourself to Ice Cube? Nigga, this Ice Cube. Nigga, Mr. NWA.
Right.
Because I even think about...
Cube kicked down the doors for a lot of people.
Because he never caught flack for that straight out of Compton stuff.
Yeah.
Because Cube being from South Central came in saying, I'm straight out of Compton. He never caught flack for that. I always wonder why. Damn, we never really tripped that Cube had us thinking he was from Compton. Because imagine if Game would have did that. Like this goofy ass nigga.
But in this day,
photoshopping himself with Pac and shit.
But now because he was hanging with all Compton niggas too.
Yeah.
But now if he was doing that in this era, he wouldn't
have got that off.
You wouldn't be able to do all that. Niggas would be debunking that fast. So
that would have been like Snoop saying straight out of Compton. They kind of find out he's from Long Beach.
Yeah, or Corrupt saying he was from Long Beach, But like I said, it was just a different time. And I understand strategically why they did it, and so at the end of the day, it was just a different time.
You selected politics, and it's cool.
Yeah. Facts. He don't understand why they did it.
We gonna brush that under the rug.
Shout out to Cube though, man. Cube's
man.
For sure a legend. I think he doesn't get all the flowers he deserves, but at the same time, I just think Game, like you said, catches the flack because he's Game. Like,
I agree with that part.
I'm gonna keep it real. I think West Coast rap, we need somebody from Long Beach in there, because when I look at when West Coast rap was at his peak,
that's my guy too, man.
Sabi just came home too, so we'll see what he do.
He definitely was my rotation for sure.
It was always somebody from Long Beach in rotation, keeping the West up here where it was at. Like you said, you had Snoop, you had Warren, you had that whole DPG thing, and that was for since Snoop came out.
Yeah.
Damn near till he turned into Snoop Lion. Now that Long Beach is removed from the mainstream, we don't see West doing that good.
Long Beach is the secret sauce.
Facts.
That's what niggas need to understand. Everything blows bigger when we're involved.
Pause.
So,
that was crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's the one right there. Yeah. That's it.
Hey, nigga can't say shit. I'm done with the English language. Long Beach is a sauce. Get Long Beach involved. God damn, girl.
That shit was diabolical.
That was crazy.
These
That
niggas been
was
listening
crazy.
too much. What's the niggas from the East Coast? They been on there too much with the
This
with the
nigga
damn. Hey, you can't even use words out the English dictionary.
This nigga on his Mano shit today. This nigga wild.
Yeah, fuck all that.
Hell
though.
no.
Long Beach is a secret sauce, cuz. Get Long Beach involved. Y'all gonna crack. Everything that Long Beach gets involved in, it makes it better. And I don't care what y'all say. That goes for everybody, especially niggas in the music scene. Make more music together.
I like Vince
Make
Staples,
more tapes together.
Savi,
Yeah.
like I said, man. Definitely. Yeah, they both in my rotation for sure.
Yeah,
Nah,
we
it's-
definitely need
it's-
some Long Beach in the mix.
It's
That's
for
no
sure
cap.
though. Nah, for sure more, man.
Cause there was a controversial post. I think Dejan Paul made it where he said Snoop had Death Row for 4 years and we ain't seen no new
West Coast LA
West
rapper
Coast
blow
LA
up.
rapper.
Yeah.
What y'all think about that?
Yeah.
I don't really think nothing. This goes back to like what you say. Yeah, it sounds good, but who was a nigga supposed to go draft?
Yeah, exactly. Because one thing I know about Snoop, didn't he sign Benny Butcher? So he found
He
him.
signed the Butcher?
Yeah, to Def Jam. So I seen like in the interview he talked about discovering him. So it's not
damn,
like
that's
Snoop
news
is
to me.
not.
Shit.
It's not like Snoop is not looking for talent. It's just once again what's out there, what's available. And so I think it's just a matter of first and foremost you have a message, because if you have a product to present to the world, people's gonna find you. You know what I mean? And so you just got to get out there, man.
Yeah, I think Kendrick is proof that substance is overall, because we do a lot of the trendy music, we do a lot of the regional music, but that's here today, gone tomorrow. A lot of the party music, here today, gone tomorrow. But the substance, that's what lasts.
Yeah,
You look at
yeah.
who's number one in the game right now. Clips, what they were running up
Yeah.
for album of the year.
Yeah.
The Grammy was
Hot
at the
too,
Vatican.
yeah, man.
All substance. You know what I'm saying? No
And
club
Which is
songs for
actually the
real.
album of the year to me. I also
And-
heard that debate too as well.
Facts.
And I also believe now when I really think about it, us as kids, we really was like embodied in the music.
Yeah.
A lot of these kids are they just want to hear a slap, a
Yeah.
TikTok song or something
Yeah.
like that. So we damn near had the streets going just as crazy as much as the people older than us. And I think that was in sync. And I think a lot of the people now are just like, they don't care. They want to hear whatever. You shoot them up, bang, bang in your section and it's
Yeah.
over. Like we was listening to the DMXs and stuff
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
stuff you can relate to. So
Yeah.
Or is it do you think it's the lack of struggle? Because the greatest hip hop always came from the most struggles. Like, you
Yeah.
know, Pressure bust pipes or make
Yeah.
diamonds,
I know.
and Pressure made a
So-
lot of diamonds. These kids aren't going through the same type of struggles. They out here depressed with $1,500 iPhones and $5,000 fucking
facts.
e-bikes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
think,
saying?
I think it's part of that, but I think it's way more capping. Like you gotta look like the made rapper before you even come
Yeah.
up. We watched the come up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? From rags
Yeah.
to riches.
Yeah.
Now it was from pump fake like the riches and then you trying to get there. I think that's the most thing. Like if you ain't got the chains, you ain't got the designer on, you ain't got certain things, people don't even want to acknowledge these rappers, regardless
Yeah.
if he can spit.
Yeah.
Well, the labels won't acknowledge the rappers.
Right,
Yeah.
but I mean, even the people, they not pushing people that look like something. Or that nigga's a bum. He just trying to rap. Like
Yeah.
niggas gonna crucify you for that. Before we didn't care. We cared
Yeah.
about what you was speaking on.
And it's like today it's more about people are trying to make a hit song, trying to go viral, trying to have something that is catchy. But back then you had people that really loved music and they were trying to make classic albums. That's why you have something like Dr. Dre's Chronic or Snoop Doggy Style or Nas Illmatic. You know what I mean? DMX, It's Dark and Hell is Hot. People were trying to come out with classic albums. Now it's just like, if I get the right beat, I have a right hook, boom, I'm finna go viral, I'm finna blow up.
I get one song for the year or
That's
the
it.
summer. Yeah, I'm
that's
out of
it,
here.
I'm on.
Yeah.
There was a rapper that did that, though, what you was describing. I think Mozzie was probably the last rapper that did that. Mozzie didn't come out pump faking like he was rich or none of that. That nigga was
I'm
dirty
not-
as hell.
Yeah, but see,
Now he up.
you gotta understand, Mozzie been rapping since all the J-Rocks, the Nipseys. He just
Yeah.
probably wasn't heard like that. I done
Yeah.
seen
Yeah,
videos of
he been
Mozzie.
around
Now,
for
Mozzie
a
was
while.
rapping
Yeah,
way
yeah.
before that.
2000,
Yeah,
no,
early
but I'm saying like
2000.
2004. So he
Yeah.
come from that 80s
paid his
era
dues,
and stuff
yeah.
like that. And you're right. He was one of them with the sweaters on and
Yeah.
in the car doing that without worrying about it. But I just think what I mean far as in today's generation right
Yeah.
now, a lot of them they just trying to look the part. They not really putting in the work as, like you said,
Yeah.
more other people was. So that's what I think.
I agree.
Yeah, we'll see. Before we get out of here, not to backtrack to prison, but you mentioned something earlier in the show. about you tried to take your own life.
Yeah.
So, because one of my questions was, what was your lowest point during that 25-year stretch?
Yeah.
Was that it?
Yeah, I would say Thanksgiving 2015, I gave my life to Christ on the verge of suicide. Like it was literally the worst day of my life in prison. I lost my visits. I didn't have any money. I went from having cell phones and drugs to having not even a soup in my locker. It was literally the worst day of my life. And then that's when Christ found me inside that cell, and it literally changed my life. So the lowest moment of my life actually catapulted me to where I am right now today. So I always say it's like, rock bottom is where you make the decision to bounce back, to bounce, to stand up, and that's my foundation. And that's why I'm here right now today.
Because one of my closest homies, he committed suicide a couple years ago, took himself out right before I started the podcast and shit.
Damn.
So what was the thought process when you made the decision, I'm out of here?
Yeah. So, and I wrote about it. If people go look up Prison Journalism Project, it's called Thanksgiving Rebirth. I wrote about that story. And like I said, it was just the worst day of my life. And so I remember, Thanksgiving to me, when I was growing up as a kid, it was my favorite holiday. In prison, it was my worst holiday. And so it was just, this was the worst day of my life. I was like, nobody loves me. My mom was in the hospital on the verge of passing, which she did on Mother's Day 2016. So it was just a point of like, when you're in that state of depression, you really feel like nothing's ever going to change. It's not going to get better. And so if it's not going to get better, why am I even here? What's the point of just continue to go through more misery? I might as well just end it. And so I'm just thankful now that I didn't. And for anyone that's out there watching or struggling, I would just say, man, get the help. It's available. You know what I mean? Because you matter. You are loved. You have something to present to the world. If you woke up this morning, that means you have a purpose. And once you find that purpose, you live your life with a passion. And that's really what it's all about. We don't need nobody else to take their own life.
So did it fail, or did you just not go through it? It like change your mind last minute?
Like I said, man, it was a supernatural. God revealed himself to me. They had a prison ministry, a husband and wife coming to my door. I said, man, I'm ready to die. You gonna tell me some Jesus love you stuff? GTFOH. And not in that acronym, I use those exact words. And then they were just patient and ministered to me. And then when they walked away, I was gonna continue with my plan. And then they came back and said, Brandon, we forgot to pray for you. And so then they began to pray. And as they were praying, I just literally felt my heart soften up. And then when they walked away, they was like, man, Jesus in that cell. He wants to hear from you. So I just started to pray. First it was, I'm sorry, mama. Then it went to, I'm sorry, God, forgive me for my sins. I literally said the sinner prayer without hearing the sinner's prayer.
Right.
And my life, is transformed from that day.
That's big, man. And I want to salute you for that. Even making it through that. Men's mental health is real. And
Yeah, for sure.
That's big, and that's big on your testimony. And the biggest thing I got from a lot of things you just said is, keep God first. Put God first. Because that's the only person that's gonna really be with you when you alone with them thoughts or you alone with those things. And prayer is real. A lot of people go through stuff, and a lot of people probably going through stuff out there. And he's a perfect example that is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, so how did you dealing with depression? Because I get a lot of pushback from a lot of the supporters, because I often say I don't believe in depression. I think it's a self-inflicted wound. I think we create it within ourselves, and it really doesn't exist. We allow it to exist because we create it. Because the same way, let's say you sitting in the cell thinking nobody loved me, it's over, I'm ready to take my own life. Somebody's in the cell next to you like, well, this shit ain't that bad, I'm gonna make the best of it. And the only difference is the mindsets. Y'all in the same exact place, same exact conditions. One person ready to end it all, and one person's like, oh, fuck it, I can't wait till the yard unlocked. And it's really just the mindset to me.
So for me, some of that is true, but it goes a lot deeper than that. And so for me, I always say it's like happiness is a choice, the same way depression is a choice. Like, I can be coming from the bottoms and just have a horrible life, and I can still have a mindset of gratitude. I always say have an attitude of gratitude, right? And so, but on the flip side, I can say, and my life, it just sucks. It's just miserable. It's horrible. It's not going to get better. So that part is true. Like, it still goes back to a choice. But on the flip side, it still boils back down to someone having that worth, having that identity, having people support them and love them. And this is why I say it's important, man. I would never walk past anybody. Like, if I see someone black, I don't care, man. Hey, man, what's up, brother? Something, I'm going to acknowledge you. Or pretty much just any human beings I encounter, because I understand you might have 100 people walk past you. You might, I don't know what you're going through, But when you acknowledge somebody, you might be the only person that acknowledge that person. You know what I mean? And that could be the difference if someone wants to continue living this life or they just want to take their life.
Right.
And so, like I said, I do believe that there's a choice. It still goes back to the mindset. But if you haven't reached that level of consciousness, and I always say, like, for me personally, I always say it's not my will, it's thy will. Because if it's my will, I would have been dead a long time ago. But I'm here for a reason. And so now that I know I have a purpose here in life, man, you're going to see me smiling all the time. You know what I mean? So I do believe that it's a choice, for sure.
Right, because we definitely suffer more in our minds than we do in actual reality. But that's where most people are trapped at because, like you said, it's the energy flows where our attention at. So 9 times out of 10, if you practicing being grateful, then you have more things to be happy about, more things to entertain those certain thoughts. But it's the opposite spectrum. Like you said, the mindset. I can focus on everything that's going wrong, or I can look at things that's going right or what may go right. So I just think it's always the mindset.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have this program, right, where you can opt out of doing physical time and they can implant a memory in your brain and give you the experience of doing the time. So say you got that life sentence, right? You did 25.
Yep.
Bam, 25. They can implant the memory of you doing 25 years, but it's only going to be a couple minutes, like 10 minutes in reality. But you're going to wake up feeling like you did the 25. What do you think about that? Is that an option you would take right now, today, looking back, if you could do it all over again?
So for me personally, like, you can't take a shortcut to success and to be where you are. Because, like, where I am right now today, it's a miracle. And I remember when I first started going to chapel in there, I was in Calipatris in 2015, and there was a sign inside the chapel. It said, if where you are has got you to where you need to be, it's not a curse, it's a blessing. And so for me to shortcut where I am right now today, it would be a disservice to, like, who I am right now as a person. And then on top of that, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, to put that image in my mind, to have 25 years of trauma. Cause I've seen a lot, you know, like, to have to relive that, like, it's just horrible. You know what I mean? It's just a traumatic experience. But I also do understand that, like, what I went through has prepared me, and not only prepared me, it has qualified me to do exactly what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I don't even think they can even. You can't even grasp. I don't even see how they can even come up with something to do that.
They got the technology.
I understand the technology, but everybody's experience is different. Like you said, a lot of things you've seen, a lot of things you've been through, and then to even get to maybe the growth part of yourself.
Yeah.
Like, so what does that mean? They just only get the institutionalized part? Do they get the parts where people allowed and grew and became awakened about themselves? Like, you one thing you do when you sit in themselves, you got to dissect everything from the beginning of your life until where you at.
You can't run away from it.
You can't run away from yourself. And that's where I think becomes the strongest point for a lot of people that face themselves and have real accountability. Because they not rehabilitating you in there. The people that come out sharper and more, they're doing that work themselves. Yeah. And I don't see, unless they doing this for a reason, because why would they want to get that option when I think about it? Yeah. Unless they know when they get out to people, you're going to end up doing some crazy shit again anyway. And now we're gonna lock your mind up for the first time to prepare you to go to jail. And the way your mind going to be, you're going to really go to jail.
Man. I just think of implanting anything in someone's mind. That got to be some type of, okay, well, now we could turn this person to a real bot. At any moment, we could send a certain frequency radio wave out and get you to crash out on some Manchurian Candidate type shit, or I'm cool on that.
Because for the
just
most
let me
part,
do the real time.
So what do you do with the lifers? Or do it only qualify with a certain amount of time? You got to have X amount of years. Because if you got life for the people that do got life, are they even qualifying for it?
So let's say you got 50 to life, and then they can implant, 50 years, then you get out.
That's crazy.
You wake up in 10 minutes, but you did 50 years in your mind.
Yeah, now I get what you're saying.
No.
Are you
gonna be fucked?
But you already got the L. So now it's like, do you get the 50 years and then you got it? Then you get to go sit at the board.
You're gonna do the 50. Yeah. So you hit the 50-year mark. So bam, we're gonna let you out. You rehabilitated 50 years.
Yeah. I don't think no person that's not gonna take that.
I know because you thinking, okay, 10 minutes, but you wake up.
I
With,
know you're mentally you're
Nah,
fucked.
you're fucked. You might be worse than really doing the
At that
time.
point, you've given them your mind.
Right.
You know, and you hear people say, like, you know, you can imprison my body, you cannot imprison my mind.
Yeah.
The minute you plant that seed in someone's mind, you've imprisoned their mind. Literally. I'm out.
I know. Are they gonna have selections of people? You want to be how he was after 50 years? After this person,
okay,
yeah.
You gonna be in 3 race riots. You gonna be,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
I know what
all
you're
type
saying,
of different
but
experiences.
what I'm saying is, are they gonna better pick like
And
a
it's people in prison that did 50 years. It's not a pretty sight.
That's
Right.
my point.
Cancer, dying of old age, and
people getting these studies, but what I mean is he came out with a better mindset. Do the person with the 25 get the piece, get to choose a mindset like his, or do they gonna automatically choose the most fucked up mindset on the person?
That shit might be like roulette, nigga. They just spinning. Whatever color that ball, that's the experience you finna get.
They
Nigga,
give you the most traumatic, worst experience you getting. That's crazy work.
That's deep.
There's a lot of inmates going viral, telling their stories from prison, right? Telling the fight stories, the phase stories, and shit like that. What do you think about that? Do you think that's an option you would have took if you would have had the option to jump on the tube back then?
So for me, I would just say one thing, man. When I see that, I mean, I don't knock it. I understand that. But it's really giving off the wrong image where people, because the biggest misconception I hear people say is they like it in prison. You know what I mean? Or it ain't that bad in there. And I'm like, no, it's horrible in there. So that's number one. Number two is if you're messing with cell phones and promoting all this stuff, if you're a lifer, you're going to board, all that stuff is coming up. You're not getting out of prison. Just listen to me. You're not getting out of prison. Because when you go to parole board, they gonna say, hey, man, we saw this video on YouTube. Explain that. You in there making pruno and all this. You passing knives and you smoking weed and all this stuff. And you gonna tell me you rehabilitated? Man, that's a 10-year denial. You know what I mean? So I look at it like if you are serious and what you need to be focused on, get an education, right? It's resources out there, man. Get an education. Get in the self-help group. Mentor the youth. Because while you're in prison, you have an opportunity. People are looking to you. People want to hear what you have to say. And I always say, if people want to hear what you have to say, tell them something positive. Tell them something positive. Don't glorify that lifestyle. Sit down. Like, you're in prison for a reason. Don't continue with that same behavior that got you in prison because it's going to keep you in prison. And we need our brothers and sisters to come home. So I don't agree with those videos at all because I know what it's about, bro. It's going to keep you in prison.
Yeah, I just look at a lot of those people like they just gave up, and this is a way to access the outside world. Yeah. But I think the ramifications of that might be worse than before they got on, because now you interacting with people all over the world. You getting DMs, you getting this love, people telling you coming home, and then one day
gonna keep you in prison.
You
want to know the most miserable people I met in prison was rich people. I've been on the yard with millionaires. Dudes literally are legit millionaires, and they miserable because I can't do anything. I'm in prison. And like I said, for me, I went through all different phases. Like I said, man, it was a time I was the man, phones and all this stuff. And when it really got down to the root of it is I'm in prison. Man, listen, I had 16 write-ups, cell phone write-ups in prison, 16 write-ups for cell phones. So clearly there was an addiction and I was lashing out. I had a hole in my heart because I wanted to be relevant. But that was the behavior that kept me in prison. I could have been home 5 years ago. But like I said, so when I see people in that situation, I understand. I don't knock it because I understand it. I was that person. When I talked about the girl that left me, I was on the gram. I got bottles of Patron in prison. How you got bottle of Patron? You in prison.
What's going
I'm trying
on?
to show out blue rags, all this stuff. And that's what kept me in prison. So when I see it, I don't knock it. Well, I do knock it, but I don't bash the people doing it because I understand it's that trauma. There's a hole. There's something that you're trying to feel in there. And I want you to rise to a higher level of conscious. You can come home. I'm standing here right now with life without the possibility of parole. I'm home now. And it's not just me. There's thousands of us. Literally, I can pull out my contacts right now. I got 40, 50 people in my contacts directly that were in prison with life sentences. So they're letting people go home.
So remember, the number one goal is to get home, basically.
You get out of prison, period. You got a wife, you got kids. Man, because I always tell people, like, there's people that you can reach that I can't reach. You know, if you're in Sacramento or, you know, you from Compton, you with blood, all this stuff, there's people that's going to listen to you that won't listen to me. So, but I know that you're needed just like I'm needed. You're a piece of the puzzle that is needed. And so we need you to promote a positive message, not look at this bag of pruno or look at this burrito, the grills. This is how we live in here. You know what I mean? Got store and the packages. And that stuff is nonsense, bro. Educate yourself, you know, and get out of there, man, because I hate prison, bro. I really do. And I hate to see people in there. But sadly, there are people that are in there by choice. Because at this point,
right,
when I first came to prison, life was life. You're not getting out. Now it's like you change, you rehabilitate, we'll let you out of prison. And so you have the choice. And if you just decide to continue to do this, you're telling me that you like being in prison.
How has life been since you've been out? Like with the felony, like you're
Man.
off parole?
Nah, I'm technically right now I'm still on parole. But Lord willing, I'll be off soon. I'm doing everything in my power to be off. And if I could tell you like what my life has been like just within a year, you wouldn't even believe it. I've been living a movie. You know what I mean? It's just like from being in prison, watching the news, to coming home and being interviewed by Christine Devine, you know what I mean, on Fox 11 News, to courtside at a Laker game, you know what I mean, at the beach. Man, I just seen Kendrick Lamar. I mean, so it's like, I'm employed, I'm working, I'm going to school, and it's just like, I'm just living the dream right now. Like I said, it feel like my life is a movie. And the crazy thing, I have a book that just came out, it's doing well on Amazon, and it's just, I would just say is like, and it's barely just scratching the surface because I know what's in store for me in the future. And so everything, like I'm not looking at it like I'm making up for lost time. I'm just making most of the time that I have right now today, because that's the only thing that matters is right now today.
All right, that's big. That's what's up.
I think that's a key mindset to have, because most people that get out of prison, they looking at it as if they're making up for the lost time. And they don't realize that time is gone.
Yeah,
the only
it's
time
gone.
you got is the present.
Yeah.
You can never make that up. So you're going to spend the rest of your life chasing time that you lost. So you got to take the present and go forward. So that's dope. What's the name of your book again? Let them know where they could grab that. I got to get a copy of that.
Where I Belong. You can find it on Amazon, Where I Belong by Brandon J. Baker. And, you can follow me on Instagram, b.successful81. You can catch up. I'm doing a lot of things. And just stay tuned, man. Tap in.
Definitely tap in. Go follow my boy. We got to get up out of here. You feel me? I could talk all day, man.
I'm glad y'all stalled my Giants out too, man.
Man, this is
Giant Kings, you already know.
New York, shout out New York Giants.
Ram Nation, y'all know what time it is with me. We already clinched, so I ain't even got to say nothing. We sitting back, feet kicked up. These two motherfuckers over
Next year.
I think they out and they're cooked. You see his face. Them niggas on the decline right
he said
now.
we cooked.
Fuck is he talking
we
about?
We just spanked niggas 31 zip. Fuck is this nigga talking about?
Who? Nobody's.
Nigga, it don't matter. We beat you up.
Nobody's.
I don't understand why he keeps saying that.
Nobody's.
Hey,
you had to get help from the Giants to beat us. They gave y'all Saquon.
They didn't give us nothing.
They gave y'all Saquon.
What are you talking about? Y'all got Devontae Adams. Y'all got Stafford. Y'all had to get rid of Goff. What are you talking about?
Goff damn near Super Bowl bound quarterback.
Y'all had to get rid of him after you went to the Super Bowl. Y'all needed help. Nigga.
Elite.
He had to go get Devontae Adams or put the cool cooked. He done there killed himself on the field. Devontae's done for the season. The Rams are cooked.
This nigga hating. This nigga hating.
Them niggas is cooked. He don't even know what's going on with his team.
Next man up.
Puka.
Yeah, whatever that
Next man
nigga
up.
name
I
is.
just seen Puka on the stream. Nigga, that nigga is streaming right now. He chilling.
Nigga,
back.
Man.
the cool over there is stressing right now. He trying to get that bag. He just got hurt. They probably don't give it to him.
Ain't Odell looking for a contract? Y'all niggas better sign Odell back.
Odell
Had a comeback story. Let him retire a Giant. Fuck it.
Yeah, for sure, man.
How the fuck did you become a Giants fan?
Lawrence Taylor, man, the greatest football player to ever live. People say he's the greatest defensive player. I say he's just the greatest player, period.
Was that the
growing
nigga,
up
was
in
that
the
the
80s.
nigga off crack?
Oh, yeah. 56, the real LT.
Nah,
remember
LT,
he was
yeah.
Giants and all that
Hey,
stuff?
but
Yeah,
now it
man.
made me think Cub was
Yeah.
cheap.
Facts.
Cub going off there off the crack and there going acting a goddamn animal. That's why, nigga.
That's why niggas couldn't stop.
Because we flack these boxers and everything else for having them substances. God, that cracking was lit.
LT.
And he had the real TRT. Fuck.
You see this nigga probably foaming out the mouth, acting a fool. Yeah, he tearing them niggas up. Shout out to LT though.
Man, yeah, that's my guy, the legend, man.
That was a savage, but he was cheap.
Yeah,
Who y'all
yeah.
got Super Bowl?
Eagles, nigga.
Right now, I'm telling you, man, I think it's gonna be the Rams, and I like to see New England, man. I like to see the Rams New England rematch, man. I think the Rams gonna pull it off, man. I like Sean McVay. I like Matthew Stafford. I love what them dudes are doing over there. They get Devontae Adams back because people thought he fell off when he went to the Raiders and then he went to the Jets and all that stuff. So I love to see him have that resurgence.
You're not following up. This nigga just got hurt. He's done for the season.
Yeah, man. But
he's done for the season. Niggas ain't hearing it.
This is crazy.
Torn ACL. He's cooked.
I don't think he's done for the season.
He's done.
But still, once again, it still goes back to coaching, man. And when you have a coach like Mike Vrabel in New England and Sean McVay with the Rams, it's still going to go back to coaching and culture. And the Rams definitely have a culture over there, man.
Sirianni.
We might see Aaron Donald come out of retirement so he can get him another ring.
Never coming back. Hey, Sirianni, you hear these niggas? But we gonna see their faces when that happens.
I'm gonna call it here. It's gonna be an LA Super Bowl. I see the Rams versus the Chargers.
Like the
Chargers looking
Chargers,
nice.
too.
I would like to see an LA Super Bowl
I like
because
the-
no matter what, the city win.
This nigga said the Chargers.
Yeah.
This nigga don't even believe that.
Nah, you
bullshit.
can't take
Chargers,
nothing from
man,
Justin
you better look
Herbert,
at their
man. He
record,
nice,
nigga.
bro.
I know Herbert and them. Them niggas
Yeah, he
suck.
nice.
They better than y'all right now.
They
Fuck
not
what you
better
talking
than us.
about?
They
Nigga,
not
you better
better
look at
than
their
us
record,
right
nigga. LA Super Bowl, man. I'm calling it right now, man. The Vol win.
And speaking of which, the Giants got 2 wins. We beat the Eagles and the Chargers. So there it is there.
That's
Man,
cool.
I win.
He talked all that shit and lost to them niggas. Scotty Booty went crazy on you. 4 touchdowns. Fuck out of here.
Did the backflip and everything.
Right,
huh?
flipping
in
on
the
these
AFC,
niggas. Exactly.
Rodgers is making progress. You got Allen. You even got Chicago that's out here spanking them AFC teams. So all that with
Playoffs is a different ball game,
It is.
bro.
A
Like,
whole
it's a
different ball game.
And y'all
I'm
know what
going
we
with
do
the
in the
coaching.
playoffs.
I'm going
And
with
y'all
the
know
coaching.
what we do in the playoffs. All we do is win.
Your team ain't got no faith in the quarterback.
Who? How we don't?
They ready to get Hurts out
They
of
don't
there.
have no
This is
faith
y'all.
in the coach.
Right,
Sirianni,
the
you
coach.
finna get
It's not
fired,
Sirianni.
bro.
It was Kevin Patullo. Y'all got to get stuff in order.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So y'all got to get y'all team in order, nigga.
we the only niggas, and y'all better go check the stats, nigga. Jalen Hurts is in the top in the first 5 years of any quarterback in NFL history and stats.
I don't hate black quarterbacks, so that's
I'm just saying,
that's
though,
another thing.
niggas be
Except for
hating-
Dak Prescott, I don't
niggas-
mess with the
Ah,
Cowgirls.
damn.
man.
Niggas be hating on Hurts, but the stats, the numbers don't lie. And he has the best winning percentage out of every quarterback in the league right now. Even Mahomes ain't even beating him no
No,
more.
Mahomes is cooked. It's over.
Yeah,
He
it's
tore his
over.
ACL too.
Damn.
That
Tore his
dynasty
ACL.
is done.
Yeah, that's,
Hey,
that's
y'all
a
don't
wrap.
think nothing really going on with all these injuries to all these key players? Like it's a lot of it was like damn near 10 injuries over the last week.
Nah, that shit
Micah
was
Parsons
ridiculous.
is gone.
Yeah.
Both of
Oh,
y'all,
man.
Parsons
both
out
of-
for the season.
For the
done.
season.
Mahomes is out for the season. Both of your
Man.
receivers had got hurt. It's a gang of other dudes. I can't remember them off the
Yeah.
top, but there's a lot of niggas gone for the season.
The
Man.
NFL script going crazy this
You
year.
like a motherfucker.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Mahomes,
Sure.
he got hurt after his first 3 Super Bowls. I think he's like around the same time Brady did.
They said the
exact
same type
same
of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, like you
Same
said,
night, the ninth season. Brady
but
was
you
his
know what
ninth
they said?
season.
They said they're trying to make it a cakewalk for Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
Ravens-
Oh, they
Ravens-
trying to-
look,
okay.
Look, because the Ravens ain't
Ravens
in
cooked.
there.
Yep.
Joe
KC.
Burrow is gone.
Yep.
And they said Joe Burrow and Mahomes is the ones that keep
Knocking
keep
him
running
out.
it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now you
Yeah.
ain't got no Ravens, you got no Joe Burrow, and you ain't got no Mahomes. There's no
Man.
excuse.
I don't know. He might run in the rivers.
Yeah.
nigga.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Colts.
he might run in the Rivers. Rivers trying to get his ring. Hey, that'll be crazy if Rivers gone. Hey, but and then y'all see Brady. Brady said he can get out there and kill him right now.
Oh, yeah. Brady
man.
said he can put belt to ass right now.
Brady said right now he can get out there. He said the only reason he don't want to do it is because he don't want to have to commit and do everything. But if somebody go draft Brady when the playoffs come,
Man.
it might be ugly. He said give him 30 days.
30 days.
Brady said give me 30 days. He said give me 30 days. I'll keep my body good. Shout out to Brady, man.
Shout
I would
out
love
to
to see
Brady.
somebody just go snatch Brady up, bring him back.
That'd be crazy,
I
man.
wish Brady would have just retired after he won that Super Bowl, man.
Right, go off
That'd
of
have been like.
Nah, he did, didn't he? After he won with Tampa Bay?
Nah,
Nah, he came back.
He played a couple
Oh, he
more
tried one
seasons.
more.
Yeah, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
But he still goated. Y'all gotta and just imagine without them catches, Brady would have had like 9 rings if
Yeah,
y'all didn't
yeah.
beat him. Or if we
Two-
all
two
no,
and
if we got him, we got
Eli
he,
Let my boy Eli. in
No
the Hall
matter
of
of
Fame,
fact-
Nah, Eli crazy.
Nah,
Yeah,
matter of
Eli
fact,
crazy.
NFC East is Brady's kryptonite.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, he lost to
crazy.
Philly too.
Eli
Yeah.
Manning is like the
Yeah.
greatest subpar
Man.
quarterback ever. Like he was
Crazy.
Nah,
regular
you
as
can't,
fuck.
you can't dis-
That nigga
you
was
can't
regular as fuck in the
disrespect,
regular
man. No,
season.
man, that's
Bruh.
my
He's
guy
the only
right
quarterback
there, man.
that's going to the Hall of Fame that wasn't over 500. That nigga for sure, like you said.
Especially compared to his brother.
Yeah,
That's
like-
crazy.
Yeah.
Nigga for sure thought he was gonna be like Peyton. Remember when he came to
For
the league?
sure.
It was like,
It don't
damn.
matter. 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, man, and probably the greatest playoff run ever, man.
Y'all
That
knocked,
07,
and y'all
08
knocked
run,
Brady
bro.
for it. Yeah, that was
they
a
did
scratch,
cut
bruh.
dirty that
Classic.
catch.
Y'all
that
took
was
away
classic.
Moss ring,
Mm.
and y'all knocked off. They didn't want that Dolphins record to get beat.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Classic.
Man, like the video, hype the video, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Go get my boy book. Support the movement, man.
We appreciate you,
man.
We definitely got to bring bro back,
we gotta
man.
bring you back.
Like I said, man, level 4 orator, man.
Yeah,
Tap in.
man.
You
Yes,
feel me?
And they ain't gonna never let a nigga live in jail. See there. Once a nigga go to jail, they never let you live in there.
Too black, too strong. Y'all know what's going on, man.
All right.
Free all the real ones, man.
Yes,
the Crips,
sir.
the Bloods, the Don Moves, everybody, man. The gangsters, the neighborhoods,
Yes,
everybody,
sir.
man. Free them all.
Hey,
Yes,
keep
sir.
God first. The viral way.
We out of here.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that was awesome.
Ain't no handouts, I did it from the ground up. In the streets, thuggin' hardest where they found us. Got a problem, nigga, watch my troopers mount up. My bitches bang too, and you a lame though. You niggas ain't outside, yeah, we came through. You want your lights up, we put you on the shade.